Welcome to episode 2 of the PSPremiere Podcast. I speak for everybody. Everybody's in our thoughts in the Bahamas and the Caribbean and Florida. It's not that strong, but they're still kind of rebuilding from last year's hurricane. Next thing I need to mention is last week part 2 got deleted. That's kind of why the ending of the first episode was kind of abrupt. It was very entertaining, but it was very chaotic, and you can hear me eating. There was a lot of did you guys play Onimusha? And it was like that, yeah.
Yeah, in silence.
So that's why we did that. And then keep in mind, we record every Friday night, and I post it every Sunday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. So I think that works for everybody. So, introductions. Let's start with Fran this time.
I'm Fran. You can follow me on Twitter at __Francesco _P_.
I never get told. Alright, let's do Dory.
Hey, I'm Dory. I go by she, her pronouns. I can be found on Twitter at dclaire192.
Mm-hmm. Let's do Mitch.
Hi, I'm Mitch, or Mitchell, whichever one. I don't really care. And you can find me on Twitter at uneducatedpop.
Nice. And then Jaden.
Hi, my name's Jaden, or the Starks. You can find me on Twitter at the Starks, THESTARKZ, or YouTube.
Mm-hmm. And then finally James.
Hi, I'm James. You can find me at Untitled Smithy on Twitter.
And I'm Sebastian. I'm the host. You can follow me at LittleSeb93. So first thing we always start with is what are we all playing? Let's start with Jaden this time because this is his first time on the podcast.
All right. So I've been playing quite a lot of games. I've been playing a lot of Rogue Company. Mm-hmm. I have like 21 hours on the game already over the course of like a week and a half or so. I've also been playing a lot of Valorant on PC, some Minecraft here and there. The Last of Us Factions I played for like 6 hours the other day. Last night it was the funniest thing ever. And then I was playing some Part 2 as well for my second playthrough. I still haven't finished that though.
And what are you enjoying more, Valorant or Rogue Company?
Well, it depends because I don't play Valorant by myself. I play with my friends, which is like my in real life friends, which is a lot of fun. But I love Rogue Company as well.
Nice.
It's really enjoyable. Yeah.
What are you playing, Dory?
Hi, yeah, I'm playing. I stopped playing Tsushima a little bit ago because I'm doing it alongside this thing called a deep dive with Min-Max Community. So I've stopped at the end of Act 1. I'm also playing Destroy All Humans.
I could hear it all on that side.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
And geez, I think that's about it. I think that's what's mostly taking up my time right now.
No worries. Fran, what are you playing?
I finished up Act 1 of Ghost of Tsushima, and then I think it was Thursday, I decided to get Final Fantasy XIV online, and I've been playing that since.
Awesome. That game's really
big
fun.
Commitment.
Yeah, definitely it is, yeah. I remember the original one when they had to blow it all up and restart.
Wait, there's an online component?
Yeah, it's an MMO.
It's all online, yeah.
I never knew that.
Yeah, it was originally it was originally like a zone. It was like a different game, and then they had to literally blow it up. They had a dragon come out of the moon and blow up the whole world. They literally made a whole cutscene just to do that, and it's really awesome.
Oh my god.
Let's now, Mitch. What are you playing?
I mean, I've had a pretty busy week, so I haven't been playing much. But out of the things that I have been playing, like Jaden, I've been playing quite a bit of Rogue Company as well.
Nice. How are you liking Rogue Company?
Yeah, I don't think I love it as much as Jaden, but yeah, it's definitely one of those games which is just like some casual fun. You can, play for a few hours at a time and just have some, chaotic fun. So yeah, if you're looking for that, then yeah, I think it's a great game.
Cool. And James, what are you playing?
There are more Ghost of Tsushima for me. I'm in Act 2 now, so I'm getting through it very slowly.
I'm shocked.
But surely. But I've been playing some Rainbow Six Siege. and Grand Theft Auto Online.
Oh, I've also been playing that. Sorry.
Oh, Siege. Yeah.
I love Siege. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. I just got into it recently because I used to play a lot of Overwatch. That used to be my go-to game, but it's not. It's gone a bit downhill recently.
Sorry.
Oh, that's a tough question. I don't know, man. I go between. Oh, I go between. At the moment, I'm playing a lot of Sophia because I unlocked her. I unlocked her quite recently. But yeah, no, that's been fun. That's sort of my go-to game that's replaced Overwatch now as well.
Cool.
Yeah, fun game.
Well, I'm only been playing 2 games. I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima. I'm on Act 3. I'm almost near the platinum. I'll probably have the platinum by maybe, I don't know, Monday or something. And I'm playing Destroy All Humans, which I'm playing it on Steam. It's pretty fun. You know, it's pretty much the same game, but we'll get into that. Speaking of Ghost of Tsushima, where are you guys at? You guys already said that, but like just in more detail. Did any of your opinions change of the game, or you feel differently at all?
No, not really. Like I'm still sort of playing it the same way. I'm going for open combat more than stealth. I'm sort of cleaning up a lot of the side quests. Some of those side stories are really interesting.
Cool.
They get really good. But yeah, no, like the stealth is still sort of iffy, but I've sort of sunk into that role play of the honorable samurai, you know, just going around,
for sure,
just facing off against enemy encampments.
For sure. Dory, your opinions change at all?
Yeah, I mean, no, I only played about a couple hours after we had our last episode because, again, I'm going alongside this thing called the Ghost Dive in Min-Max community, and they're kind of doing every couple of weeks we go through another act. So I will be starting Act 2 very shortly, probably once I'm done with Destroy All Humans. I have been enjoying it just the same. I like the end of Act 1. It definitely hooked me. I wasn't like super emotionally invested, but I definitely liked the way Act 1 ended, and it surprised me in a couple places. I enjoyed it. I won't spoil anything for our listeners, but
I really like some of them no spoilers, but I really like some of the character developments towards the end of Act 1. It sort of opened up quite a lot, and you could see like a lot of the places where the story might go and where those characters might go.
You haven't seen anything yet, trust me. Fran, what about you?
I'm now finishing. Well, I finished Act 1. I think I did like one of the other new main missions of Act 2. I've just been clearing up the first map, and I like the main mission for the end of Act 1. So that was pretty good, and I agree with what you guys said about the character development. The only criticism I have is I don't like that the end objective is the exact same as last time, where it's like, okay, now you need to take down this castle, or same thing.
Yeah, but it doesn't change. It's basically the same game the whole time. And Mitch and Jaden are not playing it, so
no.
Personally, for me, like I said, I'm far into Act 3, so I'm near the end of the game. When I say the storyline goes from okay to fantastic, I mean it. Like the story elements get so good. Especially there's one mission with Yuriko, which is the old lady that raised Jin. Oh my, it was so emotional. And then the conclusion of Act 2 was just fantastic. Like it really was. It's really worth It's really worth playing if you guys haven't played it yet. It does get that good. Even the stealth gets.
That's been my general takeaway from people is that the story starts off slow in the first act, but really ramps up in Act 2 and Act 3.
Definitely. The Act 3 feels like Horizon because it's very snowy. It's a lot of you feel like in a totally different setting completely.
Yeah, I noticed the game in general feels a lot more like Horizon than I was expecting. Yeah, like in just a lot of its open worldiness and a lot of those sort of missions and elements. I feel like it pulls a lot from that game.
And the gameplay
I love Horizon, so that's awesome.
Yeah, definitely. And gameplay gets a lot better too, just because you get a lot more abilities. You get the Ghost Strike, and you get certain armor. I'm not going to spoil it, but you can you guys do the standoff. You can like take on 5 at once and just kill 5 people with a standoff, or you can
that's a lot of fun.
And then the Ghost Strike, if you don't get hit like 7, if you kill like 7 guys in a row without getting hit, you get like a special meter where you can just one shot everybody around you, no matter what armor or weapons they're using. So
wow,
it really amps up, and actually the stealth actually gets a lot better because there's a lot more like ways to get around, and like you got a lot more abilities like the smoke bombs and things like that. And so
sorry, not to cut you off, but is Ghost of Tsushima very similar to Horizon Zero Dawn? Because I did not like Horizon Zero Dawn too much. I didn't finish the game. I actually bought it a couple months back, but yeah.
I would say no. It's more like Shadow of Mordor or an Ubisoft game, like Assassin's Creed.
I didn't like that. I did not like that.
It's pretty much like that. It plays just like that.
I did like this game, so yeah.
And I'm like, what is this? I think you have to really be a fan of the genre, like the Shadow of War or Mordor.
Yeah, if you like that, you'll love this. And we also gotta love Japanese architect, like Japanese like culture, and if you love that authentic feeling.
It's an open world game, right? The bottom line is it's an open world game, and that you have to buy into the open world premise to buy into this game. And I have trouble with doing that with a lot of open world games, and yet this game is still succeeding for me. So I would say just because you're not a huge fan of open world games, I totally get that. This game definitely suffers from some repetitive side missions. I still think this is worth it, but
yeah, because I like, not to drag the topic on too long, but I've played Infamous Second Son a couple of weeks ago, and I was not happy. I was not happy by it. I did not enjoy it. And open world games are hit or miss for me. Like I really like Red Dead, of course. I like Grand Theft Auto 5. Days Gone was okay, but yeah, I'm very much like
it doesn't play like that at all.
Something about open world games are like 50-50 for me.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm not a big fan of open world myself. In terms of side missions, the side missions get better, but they're still very repetitive. So if you're not really feeling that in Act 1, it's not really going to change that much. Side quests are kind of still forgettable, but overall, it's gone from good to very good to me. Like the storyline is just that good, in terms of the main story. I think it's worth checking out. I think that's pretty much it. Does anyone have anything else to add, or?
Nope. I really love the sword strike that you get from one of the mythic quests. I won't ruin too much, but because I'm in Act 1, you can probably guess. But it's really badass when you're able to pull it off. It's just so cool.
Absolutely. There's so much more I could say, but I don't want to spoil it for anybody. So if we ever do a spoiler cast, that would be awesome. Just because there's so much I can't say right now.
I'll definitely get the game eventually, though, because I really want to.
Yeah, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, same, for sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, once James and I and you finish it, that's at least 3 people to talk about it, right? So I mean, we should be fine.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So next topic is Destroy All Humans, which I believe only Dory and I are playing right now.
Yes.
So Dory, you take it off because you have strong opinions about this.
All right. So I played Destroy All Humans when I was a kid. I really loved this game. I thought it was so funny. I thought it was really fun. I was also a teenager, and I had a lot of misguided ideas about the world. This game is really hard to recommend. I want to like it. I think that there are some aspects, like, okay, so here's the good things. The good thing is the graphics. The graphics are updated. They look beautiful. I've taken a few screenshots, posted them on my Twitter. It looks really nice. Sometimes there are some texture issues. Sometimes there are some deloading issues. For the most part, when the graphics work, which is most of the time, they look brilliant. I will also say that the guy who plays Crypto's boss, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's played by the same guy who voices Invader Zim. He's terrific. I mean, he's just doing his Invader Zim voice, let's be honest, but he's terrific.
I think Crypto has the same voice, too. I don't think they changed. I don't think they changed the voice actors.
Oh, okay. Well, they all have the same voice actors. I'm
and
just
the same
saying,
dialogue,
the original
too. It's like
the same dialogue too. Yeah, the only thing this game is like the pinnacle of a remaster instead of a remake. It's just a fresh coat of paint, some UI updates, maybe a couple button configurations, and that's it. The negatives are that the game for me has not aged super well. I find the side quests generally tedious and tiresome. I find the stealth quests shallow and annoying. I find the dialogue usually stilted. The stereotypes about Southerners are annoying. There are also lots of jokes about people in the 50s being closeted, which I just think is a really dumb joke against homophobes. It's a pet peeve of mine. I just think a lot of this thinks it's very funny, and most of it just makes me eye roll, and I've seen it done different and better, and So I'm having a very frustrating time with this. There are some aspects that are fun, but gameplay gets repetitive very fast. The options for guns are interesting, but they're not. They don't keep your interest for too long, in my experience. I also find some of the updates don't work great because, for example, and this will be the last thing I say on it, but and then you can pick it right up, Seb. But for example, you can increase the duration of how long your shields last, but you can't increase how fast they come back.
Right.
So once your shield is gone, even though it's fully upgraded, it'll take like 10, 15 seconds if you're just sitting there like a lame duck waiting to get picked off by a shot.
That's true.
So it's very frustrating.
Trial Humans, it's okay. Like I think it's fun. I actually enjoy it. It's more of the same. Like it's basically the same game. Like it's literally the same game. Like they just put a fresh coat of paint on it. I am playing on Steam. It actually does look really good on ultra settings. It looks really good. Except for the character models. The character models look horrible. They're like weird plastic Toy Story looking characters. And they're all
porcelain. They're like little porcelain dolls.
Yeah. I don't remember them being that cartoony in the original. I think they did that for this one.
They redid the anime. Sorry to cut you off, but I just want to clarify they redid the animation. Redid the
yeah, definitely.
Redid the character models and stuff. The style, the art style. Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, it's as basic as it gets. You go to a level. There's 3 side missions you got to do, and then there's one main mission. And the missions are usually just disguise yourself as the mayor or something. Or kidnap somebody, put them in the UFO, put them inside the UFO. I mean, and then you get in the UFO and blow shit up. That's the whole game. Like it really is as sandboxy as it gets. It knows exactly what it is. It knows exactly what it is.
For sure. I have a lot of pet peeves with it. 2 of my pet peeves are in the beginning of the game, you're in the Deep South, so this makes sense. There's a lot of people with Southern accents. Boy, do they not differentiate character models because you at least see 5 of the same character model and 5 of the same lines. Sometimes you'll get really funny lines, right? Like I was at a fair early in the game, and someone was like, I saw, the weakest among my people fall and the strongest among my people, so what's there to worry about? And then the next person said something like, I'm going commando, I'm freeballing it. I'm like, there's just such a disparity of like surreal but then absurd or like just crass humor that was kind of funny. It took me off guard. There are times where the newspaper writings are funny. Like there are certain times where I could believe that the US would use propaganda like this to make up the fact that there aren't aliens invading or whatever.
Especially in the 50s.
So especially in the 50s. That's something else too. Sometimes the game will be honest and sometimes it won't. Sometimes they will make references that clearly have nothing to do with the 50s. But they'll own up to it and they'll say, oops, I'm not supposed to know that yet. But other times they'll just make the reference, like the Crypto's boss says hasta la vista at one point, which is obviously an Arnold Schwarzenegger reference. But he never says, I should know that reference or something, right? So the game is like, I know this is stupid and nitpicky, and you can say that if you want, I won't argue. But it just feels like sometimes the game can't keep its own consistent tone of, hey, we're living in the 50s, because periodically it'll go way outside the 50s. Like someone said at one point, so the way that you get a lot of the dialogue in the game, and I think this is actually inventive and creative, is that you scan people's mind. I think that's great. I think it's a good way to get a lot of dialogue easily without making it seem forced or RPG-ish. Because you can just run and get people's dialogue. And sometimes you'll get stuff like, I think there's some dialogue about Hoffa, who was a union leader or whatever. And he was like, he's like buried under that gas station. He's like, whoops, I'm not supposed to know that. Like there's still some funny stuff. But like 8 times out of 10, the game does not hit the humor, the funny bone like it thinks it does. I'm convinced this game thought it was very funny when it came out.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing to keep in mind. And this game feels like a modern PS2 game. Like even the humor is from like 2005. You know what I mean? It really feels like a PS2 game with a fresh coat of paint, and that's basically what it is. I grew up with the original game, so it makes me like it a little better just because I have nostalgia for it. And I platinumed it last year on the PS4. One thing I do appreciate is they made the trophy list way easier than the original, where you don't have to grind so much DNA and kill 1 billion cows. Oh, that was a nightmare. That almost made me ruin the game for me, because you got to collect all those little drone things that are hovering around the levels. You know what I'm talking about?
I mean, don't worry about them ruining the game for you. They're way ahead in my book. So
Yeah.
I don't like this game, although I really want to. I just find there are escort missions that are atrocious, and there are parts where it's like I really feel like I should have backup, but like no one is there to back me up, so I have to shoot behind me, in front of me. I have to defend something, but I can't. So during one of the missions last night, a dude was firing a rocket launcher through a fence, right? not like over a fence, through a fence. And I couldn't see him because he was, behind the fence and it was nighttime. So I'm like, who's doing all this damage to this thing I'm defending? And it's like this dude I couldn't even see who's glitching the game as is, and then I lost. And I was like, all right, I had to redo the mission or whatever. And the checkpoints are okay, but
The other problem is like it doesn't pick up until you start getting more weapons. Like they only give you like that one like light, like the little shocking lightning.
It's so weak
gun,
too,
and it doesn't do anything. Yeah, but we get like the we call it disintegration gun.
Disintegration ray.
The ray. It makes it so much funner. And the game even in the original game, it gets more fun as you get in the later levels. But the game's actually overly hard because like you get like 20 people just shooting at you. You realize.
Yes.
And it's like, and the shields are pretty lousy. You die pretty quick,
Yeah, it is so astonishing to me that a game can slide from ridiculously easy to ridiculously hard in seconds.
Yeah.
There's a part where you have to defend these towers.
Yes.
And all these tanks come in, and I'm like, okay, so I'm going to be in the saucer, right? Nope. Like you've got to. And to be fair, the disintegration ray is good, but it runs out of ammo fast, and so then you need to transmogrify items and stuff. Yeah. But transmogrifying is like a 10-second animation, and while you're trying to transmog, people are shooting at you. It'd just be way simpler if you didn't have to turn ordinary items into ammo, and instead you could just loot people's bodies.
Oh, I totally agree.
It would make no canonical sense.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, I would be better with that as a game. Like, I'm okay with that over realism.
Totally. I also don't like that when you turn into people, like, if like you get caught or something, you're like halfway in transformation, and you're kind of like stuck that way. Did you notice that? Like,
yeah. I also noticed that when you're wearing what's that?
It annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah, and also another thing is that I know I'm just ragging on this game, but I've really got very little to say that's good about it.
Yeah.
It's and mostly because it's disappointing, right? Because I loved the game when I was younger, and I wanted this game. I wasn't looking. Look, y'all. I wasn't looking for The Last of Us Part 2, right? I'm not expecting greatness. I was expecting, okay, this will probably be an average game. It'll be enjoyable for what it is, and I'll like it.
Same.
One other thing that I don't like is that when you are in a disguise that isn't appropriate to the area you're going in, you literally have, and this has happened to me like 2 or 3 times, you literally have like 3 seconds to get out of the way from the person who notices that you're not supposed to be there. And in some cases, it doesn't even make any sense, right?
Yeah.
You were talking about the mayor part earlier.
Definitely.
If you try to be a soldier and go up to the mayor, for some reason, you're not allowed to do that, even though cops are. So you would think the military would be even more okay.
Absolutely.
But no,
it's a pain in the ass because I failed a mission like 20 times, and it's not even my fault. It's because it's so the difficulty spike is so weird. It's like it gets really hard all of a sudden, like extremely hard, and it's very unforgiving. Like it gives you like no window to do anything. Like the time.
Yes, exactly. And
it gets frustrating.
A frustrating game that I wish was better and want to be better. There is some enjoyment to be had, but I can't recommend it. I think honestly, it should have been $30, maybe even 20. This game is a very short game.
Wasn't it 30 bucks?
Well, it is on Steam, but on PSN it's 40.
Oh, wow. That's weird. That's very strange.
I don't know why it's like that. Like, I remember you saying you got it for 30, and then I looked at the PSN store, and I was like, it's 40. That's weird.
Yeah, because it wasn't on discount or anything. I bought it full price. But
yeah, no, I know. It's super strange. I don't understand that either. Yeah. But I really think this is a game that... This is a Ubisoft game? No, this is a THQ Nordic.
Yes.
I really think THQ Nordic really just... put a fresh coat of paint and it was like and maybe switched up some UI stuff, very basic, and it was like, cool, that'll do it. And I'm like, nope, that won't do it. It's 2020. It's
for
like
sure.
However many years later, like this isn't gonna cut it. Sorry.
Yeah, this is something they just made for a quick buck It feels like it.
Yeah.
They could have really updated the gameplay and really changed the missions around. It's literally the same game. Now, don't get me wrong. I love the original, but it doesn't age well. It just doesn't.
Yes, it doesn't. It doesn't age well. And
It's
again, I
2005.
love the original, so that's why I'm so frustrated by this. Is because I wanted this to be better than it is, and I'm disappointed.
Absolutely. I mean, I think you just like it more than I do, but I don't like it either. I think it's okay. I would say get it for. I would say get it on sale if it was like $10 or something. It doesn't hurt.
Yes.
Yeah. Not for 40.
I would say this game. It's not offensively bad. Right. It's not broken.
Yeah.
It works as intended. It's just the way that it's intended is outdated.
Yeah, considering like games like Ratchet and Clank were like $40, like that's kind of insulting. Or the Spyro and the Crash remakes were both $40, and they were way more heart in it. So
way more content, way better upgraded.
Yeah, they put their heart in it. This one just feels like a quick buck, honestly. Yeah. All right, guys. Enough of us blabbing about Destroy All Humans.
Oh, thank God.
Everybody went on mute. Everybody put themselves on mute, I noticed. So that was basically us shitting on the game for like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, I heard, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Sounds like a riot.
So
Can't wait to pick it up.
Next time, I do recommend it if it's on sale, like for like $5-10. Next topic is the Avengers Round Table. I'll let Mitch start with this one because he has probably the most to say about it.
I mean, yeah, I kind of do. I kind of don't. I think out of everyone here, I'm probably the one who's most, optimistic, shall we say, for the game.
That's what I mean, yeah.
But yeah, it's like, that being said though, like I think the round table, like at least this time, was definitely like it was a good showing. But I think, like especially when it comes to the beta, I think it was a bit too good because, like, I mean, considering the amount of content they're putting in the beta, like over the next few weeks, it's either a case of wow, they have just so much content in the final game that they're just sort of giving out so much in the beta, and it's still only going to be like only like a fraction or a sliver of what the final game's going to be, or it's kind of like a misdirect where it's like wow, they're putting so much in the beta only to get to the final game and realize okay, they were just putting their best foot forward sort of early on to sort of deceive people into thinking there was a lot more than what is actually there.
Yeah. I'm probably the least optimistic out of all of us about it, but like I honestly I did think that this one this show was a lot better than the last ones.
Way better. Just the frame rate alone. Just the frame rate was better. Yeah.
I think the thing is though, like all they really showed in this was gameplay is the thing. It was just snippets of gameplay in the background while they talk about the beta content. And I think that doesn't. I'm still extremely skeptical because like the gameplay wasn't even my main complaint from the previous showings. My main complaint was the acting and the writing, which just seemed atrocious, honestly. And it's incredible because you've got all these world-class actors. You've got Troy Baker, Nolan North, Laura Bailey.
The only ones,
and, like,
really. They're in every game. They're in every game.
But you've got all this world-class talent, and like and you can't direct them to make these bring these characters to life because everything just sounded so flat, and it was honestly a bit of a letdown. So I'm still super skeptical about that part.
I don't get making Miss Marvel like the main character at all. I don't. It's a weird choice. Like Camilla.
I think that's the part I'm most optimistic about. I think she looks
she
interesting
looks
in this game.
Well, she is an interesting character, but it's just a weird choice for an Avengers game. Like she just feels like a random character.
Kind of like one of those. Yeah, you go, Dory.
Oh, sorry. I have very little to say about this, y'all, but I do want to defend Miss Marvel here for a second because I love her. I love Kamala Khan. I wish she was the actual Miss Marvel in MCU, but she's not. Oh well.
Yeah.
Hopefully. But her character is really interesting.
Yeah, she is. Don't get me wrong.
And I know. I'm just saying that I think she's a great character because she's the one. She's a great character to focus on because it gives less. This is my thinking behind the reasoning, is that they give less time to the MCU lookalikes, and it also centers us as players on a more relatable character, right? Because Kamala is just pretty much an average teenager, right? It's that Spider-Man effect it's that Peter Parker effect. So that's what I think they're going for. I don't know that they'll succeed. Just like James, I'm pretty cynical about this. Well, yeah.
Well, the thing is, when I first saw it, the looks are just too similar to the MCU. I know it's not the MCU, and it's a whole different story, but like
it's kind of in that uncanny valley where it's like
because it is.
It's not MCU, but it's also like
you're not gonna tell me that doesn't
like
feels
a lot like the MCU, yeah.
Right, because you're not gonna tell me that doesn't look like Mark Ruffalo wearing a purple shirt like that he wears in the Avengers movie, and then Dory's wearing has the little circles on his chest as part of his outfit, and it looks just like the movies.
They just got their stunt doubles. Like that's it.
Yeah, it looks like that's what it looks like, and that's why everybody was mad when it first came out. When it was first shown, is because it looked like something was off with the character models, and that's it. It looks like they're stunt doubles. That's exactly what it looks like.
They have changed the character. I think they have changed the character models a bit since the first showing.
Probably, yeah.
I think they've improved them a little bit, yeah.
Yeah, but I think the problem stems more from the fact that the art style they've gone for is this sort of hyper realistic, like graphical fidelity sort of thing, where it's like they've tried to make it look realistic without any sort of unique art style, and so you sort of equate it to the MCU because you're used to seeing these characters in that sort of style already.
Oh yeah, but
whereas
they're wearing the same outfits.
With Spider-Man, right?
They're wearing the exact same outfits, though.
Yeah, I know, but like with Spider-Man, like Insomniac Spider-Man, they've got like they've got that really nice art style where it's like it's sort of realistic, but it has that sort of twist on it, and that keeps you from associating it with the movies and everything like that.
No, I get that, but they just changed the outfits and it would be a lot different, but it really does feel like the MCU. Like it's not the hyper realism that bothers me. It's just why they created this uncanny because as Mitch said, they created an uncanny valley of this weird middle between MCU and not. You know what I mean? It looks like the MCU to me. I don't know, but that's my biggest problem with the game is the performance. The second showing was a lot better, like way better than the first one. When they showed that door gameplay, there was some frame drops. It was kind of lagging. It looked clunky. You didn't really hear the hammer hit. You didn't hit the hammer hit.
Yeah, the animations were a little bit clunky as well. And like, it's weird. I would really like to know when that demo that they showed with Thor and everything was from, because it hasn't actually been that long since that demo.
It's true.
Like, it's been quite a short amount of time, and it looks a lot better already. So
it was like a month.
Yeah, and like so that must have been like an old demo, surely.
And it's coming out next month. Yeah, like, you know what I mean, it's not exactly far away either. This is what we're gonna get.
I mean,
go ahead.
Also, if I was just to say my main concern, which is sort of been alleviated by this War Table and the performance in it, but I think we can all agree that like having betas so late, like within like a month or so of the game's final release, is not necessarily like cause for concern, but it's like it's not something that invokes confidence to me. Like if they had a beta like in June or July, that would go, okay, they're getting into beta early, so then they can like take all the criticism and feedback and implement it for the final version. Like they're probably going to be going gold whilst the beta's still.
It seems risky.
Yeah,
basically. It's very risky.
So like obviously they're just sort of stress testing the servers and trying to boost up their pre-orders and that sort of thing. But they're not gonna, if there are any issues with the actual game, bugs and that sort of thing, they're not gonna be able to fix that.
Yeah.
My issue is also I'm not a big fan of service games. They usually give you the bare minimum and then they make you pay for extra stuff. Like that. I hate that style.
It seems like this one in general is going to be a lot better than your average sort of live service, where the content is going to be free and everything. But at the same time, like, I'm not personally a fan of that model of game, because the content, the way the content works in those, whether it's free or not, is just not something that appeals to me personally. So I think I'll always be skeptical of those kind of games.
Yeah, I mean, it worked for Anthem, right? Everybody, right? It worked for Anthem?
Yeah, man. I just got done playing Anthem. Really enjoying that.
Well, and also, is the missions going to be fun? Is the missions going to be unique? Is the missions just going to be fighting a bunch of robots?
That is another thing.
Yeah, that's another thing. The mission variety.
Are they going to have different villains or something? Like,
apparently, like from what I've heard, they're going to have tons of villains, but it's certainly going to be like, it's going to be one of those things where it's like wait and see. Because I mean, the achievements leaked and they showed like there's still stuff they haven't showed or even hinted towards.
Well, when you say there's going to be a ton of villains, what that makes me think is like is it going to be a coherent sort of story and everything, or are they just going to throw a bunch of are they just going to throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna just be what we're gonna have to wait and see on that stance.
What did everybody think about Hawkeye?
Oh, generic.
Yes,
he looks generic. Looks like every buzz cut white soldier guy I've seen in every video game ever.
I actually appreciate like he looks a bit generic, but I appreciate that they didn't make him look like Jeremy Renner.
Oh yeah,
because then like I've seen I've seen complaints that like, oh yeah, he looks super generic and there's so many more interesting costumes they could have gone with. But then you have to remember, like, it's a live service game, so you're probably going to be able to dress him up in those costumes that you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna put him in the I'm gonna put him in the old school mask because that's the Hawkeye I love. So you guys know what I'm talking about, the pointy little mask.
Yeah,
purple.
I have no idea what you're talking
about. I've been saying it this whole time. It's very ridiculous.
Goofy looking thing, yeah.
I'm sure they have it. They have. That's what I like about this game. The costumes.
I should say as well over here, like, I'm not the target audience for this game. I'm not a big comic book fan in general, let alone Marvel fan. So.
Well, the thing is, I
take my criticisms with.
I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Right.
So
James, you hate fun. I forgot.
I'm the guy. I'm the guy that got emotional in Endgame when the portal scene and everything. I was shaking and tearing up. I'm that kind of fan.
I got emotional in Endgame too. So I'm literally me and Seb are like target audience, and the thing clicking with us, that's a problem.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. Exactly my point. Yeah. But you guys, anyone else?
Fran, what do you think?
Yeah, Fran.
I was gonna say Fran.
I like games as service games. I play like Destiny 2 every day, so from that kind of perspective, this looks good, and I hope that they don't like abandon it after launch. Like, obviously we've got that Hawkeye trailer, but what's beyond that? I hope they kind of had some like raid type stuff where you go in like 4 Avengers and you kind of take down this big villain. I don't know. I just want cool stuff like that. I think they can do a lot with the Marvel brand and the characters that that has.
I do want to say that I appreciate they're using MODOK, the most random ass final boss from MCU you could have pulled from. Like, MODOK is so weird as a villain, and I love it. Like, I love that they're going with MODOK and AIM, and they're not like just doing like Doctor Doom is taking over the world or whatever, right? Like they're not doing the generic like they did with all the Arkham games, right? With Joker always being at the center of it. So I appreciate that they're doing MODOK. They're giving some MODOK some love.
Big floating head.
Yes.
Yeah. As I was gonna say quickly before we end off, I think, as I said earlier, the achievements did leak like way early in the year, like back in January, which kind of surprised me. But so like they've only when it comes to villains and stuff, they've only like shown the tip of the iceberg when it comes to like random ass sort of out of left field things.
Here's Galactus.
So there's definitely No.
That'd be hilarious if Galactus just shows up. Okay, we're gonna fight Galactus.
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
No, what kind of? I hope they have like cool extra characters. Like, I hope you can play as Black Panther at some point and things like that. I really hope they add.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange.
Doctor Strange would be awesome. Yeah.
If you can't play as Squirrel Girl and beat everyone up, then I don't want to play this game.
She did beat Thanos.
She did. And
that is canon.
That's canon, y'all. That's canon.
She did?
Yeah, she did.
Yeah, she did. It's awesome.
Oh man.
Wow. Okay, I need to go look that up later.
Yeah, you should look it up. It's a really funny scene because the Watcher, aka the guy in the MCU who literally knows everything, so everything he says is automatically canon. He starts scanning Thanos, who's just like, he's got his like butt hanging up in the air and he's just clearly knocked out. And he's like, I can confirm that this is not a clone of Thanos, but the real Thanos. Like, just to like give a big middle finger to all the fans who are like, what? Squirrel Girl couldn't do that. That's a clone or whatever. Like, shut up.
Squirrel Girl needs more
comic book.
She deserves more respect. She needs her own TV show.
She's got a great comic book series called The Unbeatable Squirrel Girl. I know we're getting off topic.
This is now the Squirrel Girl podcast.
Yes. Hell yeah.
No,
I don't know if y'all can see, but my name comes from Dory and Green. So I love her a lot.
That's awesome. You guys have anything more to add about it, or no?
No, that's everything I've got.
Really? I've done everything.
If on Metacritic Day when the reviews come out and it's good, I'll probably get it. And if it's mediocre or it's like maybe wait later on, I'll get it later on. So.
I probably won't, but I will play the beta. So if we were going to give impressions on that,
no worries.
I'll be there.
Yep.
Absolutely,
So
I'd be willing to give impressions on the beta, maybe.
Yeah, if we get codes and stuff, that'd be cool.
Yeah, and they've got an open beta anyways.
Yeah, hey, Kevin Feige.
Because you got, yeah, hit us up. This is the premiere podcast. You got, come on,
That's right.
Feige. The problem is you got to pre-order it to play the beta, which is a pain in the ass. So hopefully
there is an open beta, isn't there?
There is an open beta.
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
There is an open beta. Yeah.
That's cool. I'm gonna try it. I'll try it then. So let's get to the next topic. Cuphead coming to the PS4. This is pretty random news, actually. Like, I kind of figured it would come to PlayStation eventually, but
yeah.
Did anyone buy it on PlayStation or?
Not on PlayStation, but I do have it on Switch. So
I have it on Steam.
Was it on Switch or?
Yeah, it's on
Switch.
Sorry?
How long ago was it on Switch?
That must have been about a year.
It feels like 6 months. 6 months to a year, I would say. A year, yeah, it was a year.
I feel like it's been at least a year.
Was Cuphead not like an exclusive first party like Xbox game?
Second party.
It was.
No,
it was for a while, but they brought it to.
I think it's second party.
Because like my thoughts about it is if it, like I don't like I'm pretty much against a lot of these like exclusive games going on other like especially like Horizon Zero Dawn and Death Stranding. I know people say those weren't first party, but Horizon Zero Dawn was, from my understanding.
It is.
Regardless, I like games that are exclusive. I think it's important, and I know a lot of people would disagree with me on that because it's like it doesn't really matter, which it really doesn't. But I just like exclusivity. I think it's important to the brand.
For the brand, yeah.
I mean, from a corporate level, like I totally get exclusives and why they matter, right? You've got to make your brand unique. Otherwise, what's the point? Like, why aren't I just buying anything? At that point, it just comes down to hardware differences. So, like from a marketing perspective, I understand why exclusives happen, and I think there's some value to them. But then again, I've never liked marketing. So,
well, I mean, you know my opinion on this. Like, I know I'm gonna piss off a lot of PlayStation fans, but console gamers and PC gamers are very different audiences, and most people that buy consoles are not going to be playing every game that we're talking about. They're going to play Call of Duty and Fortnite all the time. You know, those are most of the sales. So So
I mean, like,
if a game coming to PC is not going to affect that Sony sales or anything like that.
I don't mind saying, like, bottom line for me is more people get to play the game.
Yeah, and that's
it's a great game, and more people should play it.
I get that perspective, but at the same time, I kind of value that mindset of having a game. Like, to me, that's something I really liked about PlayStation, is this idea that I can play Uncharted, and obviously those games probably won't come to PC, but I feel like there's been this like
I don't know
about that. At this point, I really don't know, because like there's been so many games that have gone to PC. Well, maybe
have you seen the top selling games right now on Steam? They're all exclusive games that were on PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah, to
Death Stranding, Horizon, Persona was big, Sea of Thieves. Those are all the highest selling Steam games right now. So
I think it makes sense for Microsoft to be like sort of having their games on both Xbox and PC, seeing as, you know, Microsoft is also a computer company. So in terms of that, like the bridge between hardware makes sense.
Right.
But I mean, like for PlayStation, I'm definitely interested to see how them porting over, you know, exclusives goes. Like, I do not see them porting over something like Uncharted or The Last of Us, just because
and I hope
like they're the big hitters, like the PlayStation brand. But like something like Horizon, I mean, you know, feel free to disagree or what, but it's like it's not as strong or as iconic currently of a brand as those sort of games.
Well, keep in mind that Death Stranding and Horizon share Guerrilla Games, like the Decima engine.
Yeah, the Decima engine. Yeah,
keep that in mind. I don't have a problem if
it might just be an engine thing in that case. Then it's like, okay, this can put over this engine can work easily on PC also.
Yeah, as long as the game. To me, if the game doesn't come the same day as the PlayStation 5 version, I think if it comes out like 3 years later, I don't think it's really gonna affect anything. You know, people already beat Platinumed Horizon years ago. You know what I mean? I don't think it's really gonna affect anything. But I get what you're saying, Jay. I get how you feel, Jaden. I know a lot of people feel the same way, and I don't know. I know you're not saying that from a fanboy's perspective either. I get what you're.
No, like, because
exclusives are good for a brand.
People assume that I don't want others playing these great games. Listen, like a lot of my like in real life friends either play PC or Xbox, and if you have a game like Horizon or Death Stranding, both games that I didn't really like, but nonetheless was really valued to a lot of people.
Right.
I wouldn't mind my friend being given that opportunity to play. So it's almost like I have a contradicting opinion on it, but basically I'm not for it. But like I understand, more people get to play the game and more money.
Sure.
For Sony, but
if I can, like, I don't, not to put words in your mouth, but I assume like it's more a case of like you like having a reason to own a PlayStation.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think as well, like personally, it's still, the games are still coming like to PC and everything years down the line. It's not day and date like Seb said. So I think that there's still that middle ground that I think works nicely between the two.
Yeah. I think that might be the plan in the future. I really do think these games, the future games, might be coming to PC, because Horizon's already sold like hotcakes. Like, I'm gonna be buying it next week myself. Yeah, so I think that's enough for that topic. Well, do you guys have any feelings about Cuphead, or like the game itself?
You should play it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
it's really hard, but it's really worth getting.
I played it once for like maybe half an hour with some kids who were enjoying it, and I got my ass kicked, and then I didn't play it again. So
it's just amazing how they hand drew the whole game.
Yeah, I think
I was
the art
really impressed
style
with the music and the art style.
Yeah,
I think that's the part of it that will stand the test of time.
Can you believe people already got the platinum like an hour after it came out? You know.
I can't.
Those are speed. Well, I watched the speedrunners, so I guess it's not surprising, but it's still kind of crazy. Yeah. Anyway, next topic. Modern Warfare 2 and Fall Guys is free this month in August. I'm sure it's the same in every other region, right?
Through PlayStation Plus, yeah.
I think in
all the Western regions,
I'm pretty sure in like Russia or something, or like somewhere around there, you can't play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. But apart from that, I'm pretty sure it's the same everywhere.
Oh, is that because of that one mission?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Did you consider that? Yeah.
Did you guys?
Of course.
Have you guys played that game?
Modern Warfare 2. Oh yeah, big fan.
Yeah, the original. Yeah.
Did you skip the mission or did you do it?
I usually do it just because I feel like it's
part of the story.
It's a part of the story. Yeah,
definitely. Did you guys play the original?
No Russian mission or something?
Yes,
No Russian.
Yeah,
yes.
No Russian. Wow, I can't believe I remember the frickin' name. I played Modern Warfare 1 and really enjoyed it, and then by the time 2 came around, I didn't have a 360 anymore, so I never played it, but I did enjoy the predecessor, so yay.
Yeah. I bought the remaster when it came out. It was like $20. Like, what was it, like April or May or something?
Yeah, it feels like money wasted now. I'll be honest.
Does it feel very short? Like, they didn't wait at all to put it on Plus.
It seems I wouldn't, and I mean it sort of segues into the next topic, sort of. But it sort of feels like it's early advertising for the next game.
Oh yeah, but you don't need to advertise Call of Duty, really.
Yeah, true, but it's sort of like PlayStation's going more like, okay, hey, look, we gave you, this free game here. Now just, buy the game on PlayStation.
They did the same thing with Black Ops as well. When Black Ops 4 was coming out, they put Black Ops 3 on for free as well.
And did they add did they add the multiplayer yet? Because when I got it, it was only the single player, I think.
It's just single player.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys, sucks, and any of you guys care about Fall Guys? Because that was at State of Play, I think it was.
I'm excited to try it.
Yeah,
for sure. I don't know that much
about it. I'll play it.
For sure, yeah.
Maybe we can do something together with that one, because it looks kind of fun, actually. Like, it's a game you can't play alone. You gotta play with friends for that one.
Yeah.
So, next topic, speaking of Call of Duty, is the Black Ops Cold War potentially being leaked by Doritos, which is
that's not how you want your game.
No,
that feels very on brand for Call of Duty.
All the players that are eating Doritos and drinking Mountain Dew, wouldn't you want your game leaked that way? Come on.
We're probably on the horizon of getting a trailer or something, because the NBA just started, and NBA always has a Call of Duty trailer in their commercials. Like they always.
I mean, it's nuts how late it is, because like. Honestly, I was starting to think they just weren't releasing one this year.
Yeah.
Because they usually they reveal it in June, I think. April, May, June.
You're right.
I mean,
that's quite a large window.
Yeah,
you're right.
I mean, when you consider that this game's only had like 18 months of development by the time it releases, I honestly, considering, because I mean, this year was supposed to be what were the guys who did World War II? Like Sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer, yes.
Yeah, it was supposed to be their year in their rotation, but for some reason they kind of got knocked out. So then Treyarch was kind of forced to stop. Stop doing the next one, and
that's the thing as well.
Do this one on short notice. Yeah,
like they would have been working on it for that first year as well, so they still would have been making like assets and stuff that they would have used in the actual in the Treyarch's version. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would say the fact that they haven't revealed it yet is probably not a great sign.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They might be
I'm not sure why exactly it's not a great sign, but I can't imagine it being a good sign.
Yeah, like I said, with basketball starting up again, we're probably getting a trailer's probably on the horizon because they always advertise it with the NBA together.
So there's that rumor of the August state of play, so I would not be surprised in the slightest if we get the reveal there.
Yeah, definitely, I can see that for sure. Do you know what the date of that state of play or? Like,
they said like between the 6th and 11th.
Okay.
6th and 11th.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not official though, right?
No,
not official in the slightest, but that's like the rumor from someone who's like made this sort of stuff in the past. So now, hopefully.
Now, do you guys think it takes place in the actual Cold War, or is it like a modern fictional Cold War?
I have no idea. I don't.
What do you think?
I'm not really a history buff, so I don't know much about that era. But honestly, like what I want from it is more of that original Black Ops sort of Vietnam era stuff. That's what I would have wanted.
That is that era.
Yeah, like that would be like that sort of cliche Vietnam stuff, like where you're shooting an M60 out of a helicopter, that sort of thing. That's what I want.
Well, that's the thing with
I feel like we don't get enough games like that.
Well, that's the thing with the Cold War. It was more of like an arms race. It wasn't exactly like Russia and America just fighting each other in the battlefield, So it has to be like maybe a fictional modern version of it or something. Like maybe like because Russia and U.S. still have a rivalry in a way, kind of. So maybe that's something like that. I don't know. You guys have anything to add about that game or?
I only have one hope for this game, and that it has a good zombies mode. Like Black Ops 4 was alright, it had a few good maps, but the rest of it was like pretty mediocre. So I hope that they do something good with zombies this year.
I am going to contest you on that. I'm going to contest you. Sorry, because I feel like zombies is overdone. I feel like they do it too often, and it's at this point it's like
never enough.
Okay, we've had enough.
Vampires in your moment.
Yes,
you crossed the line.
But I do hope they go to the traditional World at War, I think it was, and Black Ops 1. I remember playing Black Ops 1 Zombie on the Wii, which was an experience, I can tell you that.
On the Wii.
Yeah, on the Wii. Yeah, I know.
What a reference. What a reference.
Wow.
Yeah. Where you had to aim it at the little bar. It was great. So I hope
I would like to, Jaden, I would like to let you know that your gamer card has now been officially renewed.
Yeah, no, but
I gotta say,
on the Wii it was great.
I gotta say, I guess I'm the only one here who's completely disinterested and lost interest in the Call of Duty franchise a long time ago. But hey, I'm glad y'all are excited about it.
I mean, disinterested is a strong word. I don't buy them day one. I get them like I'm only single player guy normally. I don't. Really,
I keep saying every single year for like the past 5 years that I have lost interest, but somehow I always end up buying it. Like, okay, they're slowly losing me. Like, I don't buy them day one anymore, but like I still end up buying them at some point throughough the year.
There's something about games
like
that do
it's
that
like
too.
the Goodfellas, you keep getting out, but they keep pulling you back in.
Exactly, and it's that itch that no other game can scratch. Really,
that's me with Madden.
Yeah, I agree.
That's me with Madden. I'm like, I hate EA. They always make the same game every year, and then they get me on when it comes up. So I get that. All right, next topic. Our opinion on the pricing increase in games. Like, do you guys think most games are going to go up to $70 now, or you think it's going to stay $60?
I hope not.
I hope not either.
Okay. I think first party stuff like exclusives and stuff will probably be 70, but I'm pretty sure like companies like Ubisoft have said that their games for the next few years are going to stay at 60. So I can't imagine like everybody's going to all of a sudden like put up their prices. But
2K will, because they're greedy.
I personally hope that they don't make them $70 because I don't know about you guys, but I live in the UK and I don't have any dollars. So,
but then,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because
you go. Yeah, no, you go.
So the issue with that spike or that increase is the Canadian dollar isn't it's not as valuable as the American dollar, and so you guys pay 60 there, but we pay $79.99, which is 80 plus tax, so that's $83 plus additional if we want to get bonuses and stuff. That's 83 flipping dollars. I would have to go digital, and I do not like digital only games. I want my physical games.
Yeah.
So that's the only issue. If they were to bring it.
Yeah, because the difference,
but I can see why.
Yeah, because
sorry, not to cut you off, but I can see. I can see why they would increase it just so they have that additional. I don't know, $10, which might help. But I mean, it's either more microtransactions, which I'm personally fine with, as long as it's not a pay-to-win system, or you increase the games. Plus, I think I can be behind story, like single-player only experiences, being a little more expensive. But again, I really don't know.
The thing is, I know, in Australia, the money, the price of games, pretty much matches ours, just in a different currency, right? But I think in Canada, it's legitimately more expensive than ours in Canada. I think. Yeah.
So the thing is, and I know our economy is different, but I'm pretty sure the American dollar is more valuable, which in turn, obviously it works itself out, but it's still a lot of freaking money,
Yeah, so, I don't think yours matches ours. I think yours is actually more expensive.
No,
I really don't want games to get any more expensive. I already jumped off the gaming bandwagon for a bunch of years because gaming was such an expensive hobby, and I really don't want it to be any less accessible to poor folks as it already can be and is in a lot of cases.
Especially in modern gaming, where they give you the bare minimum and then they make you pay for season passes and DLC and unlock this character
and microtransactions
and loot boxes,
live services.
I'm still flabbergasted by the fact that companies like Ubisoft, main culprits, companies are still using the season pass model, even though it's been proven that it just does not work and does not, players do not like it. I still don't know why they go for it.
I have yet to buy a season pass for anything.
I guess because they make money. I would, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
casuals
it definitely does for certain. There's a community behind it. Is a season pass the equivalent to a battle pass in Fortnite? Because I know a ton of people who buy. I know that's a free game.
A season pass.
So I understand.
A season pass is when you pay for all the DLC with one purchase, and then you just So instead of buying each DLC individually, you could just you basically have an exclusive membership to all the content.
Yeah,
without paying. So
for Call of Duty games, I have
but it's usually the same price of a game. It can be up to $30 for a season pass, or 60 something.
30, $50 even, in some extreme cases. But it's insane, and I don't know why companies still go for it. If you want people to pay for extra story and DLC and stuff. That's fine, but have it at a lower, more accessible price, because no one looks at no one looks at a season pass that's half the price of the base game and goes, oh yeah, sure, I'll buy that, when they can easily just buy 1, 2, maybe even 3 games for that same price.
Especially when DLC is a lot of times you gotta wait a year and a half if you even get that. You know what I mean? It's
I think it works fine for single player games. If you're careful and you don't buy up front without knowing whether the DLC is going to be good or not, it works fine for that. But it's with multiplayer games, it's a little trickier because it always splits up the player base with the new maps and that they add and all that sort of thing. So I think that's why a lot of multiplayer games have started moving more towards battle passes and that sort of thing.
But even that model is seeping into single player, because Assassin's Creed Odyssey, for example. They made the leveling such a pain in the ass and made you do all the side stuff that they kind of force you to pay for the extra season pass.
Yeah.
So you can level better.
Speaking of,
they're very sneaky.
Ubisoft,
companies are sneaky.
Go ahead. Yeah, not to mention Ubisoft's season passes and the DLC in them.
Yeah.
have been notorious for being very low quality.
Oh yeah, for sure.
From my perspective at least, like they've been notorious for being very low quality and not worth the price at all.
Yeah, I see Odyssey on sale on Steam, and it's like $60 for the highest version you can get. Yeah, like even $60 for a full version of a game, that's just ridiculous. Otherwise, it'd be $120 for a game. In terms of single player, if the game is like 10 hours long and it's $70, I'm probably gonna wait. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not worth it.
But I recommend that anyway. Most games are not worth getting day one, honestly. I mean, I know it gets tricky because you want to be part of the news and part of the what's going on right now. You know what I mean? Like you're on a podcast, you know, so you want to be in touch with everybody. But like, yeah, like, I usually don't recommend getting games day one unless it's like there's only a few games I get day one, like Resident Evil or Last of Us or something like that. Something I just couldn't wait for, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Are you gonna say something, Dory?
Yeah, I was gonna say something, and I am proud to say I've lost my train of thought.
My fault.
Oh no,
I didn't hear you.
It's all right. I was just generally saying that I'm also frustrated with the way season passes work and the way that I don't know a lot of these price schemes work. What I was really gonna say was that the Kingdom Hearts community is now having. Kingdom Hearts community is currently having an issue is with these mobile games that are like gacha games, and you basically have to pay a lot of money just to get anywhere really quickly, just similar to Odyssey, which is what made me think of that. And a lot of people are like, these are really crappy games that I really don't want to play. Not only are they crappy, but they are predatory and completely rely on getting a ton of money from people, often kids or people who are uneducated on
and they're canon too, and they're canon, so you gotta know
have story that's canon for games.
We don't have to get into that, but I just wanted to say like this is a problem in many different communities
because Kingdom Hearts 3 like directly references it at the end of the game, like a secret cutscenes and stuff, so you know what I mean. So yeah, that's why people get worked up over mobile gaming affecting the community because all these companies are trying to appeal to China now, and in the Asian countries, mobile gaming is gigantic, and so all these companies are seeing dollars right now, and that's what they're trying to do. That's why a lot of people get a little worried when Tencent buys everything because they're like, oh, they're gonna try to make this game a mobile game, and these companies they think they're slick, but people catch on to them really quick. Yeah, so that's what's happening like Blizzard, for example. That's why the whole Hong Kong thing and everything, because they make too much money on China. They that Diablo Immortals game on the phones. People got outraged with them, but they're gonna make a shitload of money from that. So
is this an out of season April Fool's joke?
Yeah. All right, our last topic of the night. Our top 5 most anticipated PS5 games. All right, I'll start with mine. So what we're going to do is we're all going to say our number 5, and then we're all going to say our number 4, and then so on and so forth. And then at the end, we'll
you want us to say them at the same time, see if they match up?
No,
or 3.
We'll do it one at a time.
Okay.
So I'll just start. Yeah. My number 5 is Kena because I just love the aesthetic to it. I love this. It looks like Studio Ghibli, which I love. It's one of my favorite. I'm a huge Miyazaki fan. The little creatures remind me of Spirited Away. If you guys ever seen that movie, and if you haven't, it's a masterpiece. Watch it. And it kind of looks like Pikmin. Combat gameplay kind of looks like Pikmin because you control them and they fight with you, and it looks gorgeous. Like it just looks like an animated movie. It looks absolutely gorgeous. So
I think that was one of the best looking games at the PS5 event.
Definitely.
Just in terms of like art style and fidelity.
Caught me off guard. I was just like, oh my god. I was blown away. Definitely, this is a game I'm definitely getting day one when I get my PS5. So, all right, let's. I'm gonna do it in order by what I see on Discord. So let's start with Dory.
Sure. My number 5 is a weird one. I don't think anyone will have this on their list.
Okay.
I'm being such a hipster, but Goodbye Volcano High is my number 5.
That's interesting. That's interesting because a lot of people did not like that game.
That's
That's
It
interesting.
it looks cool. Yeah, it looks cool.
Yeah, so I guess I'm hyped for a couple of reasons. I'm not super hyped, but which is why it's number 5 right now, number 1. But I love the art style. I love the concept. I like narrative focused games. I'm also a tad bit biased. There is a lot of LGBT rep in this game. One of the main characters is non-binary, so I just really love that. And it's people who have done some good, successful video games before, is my impression. So I'm just kind of excited for this as a concept. I don't know that it'll pick it up, but it looking more and more into the game, it does look interesting, and I love the art style, and I hope good things for it.
So just a quick question on that. The impression I got with Goodbye Volcano High, like, is Volcano High like a pre-established franchise, or is it just like its own completely new thing?
It's just its own thing. That's as far as I can gather. It's its own thing, and it's just kind of a very artsy title.
Yeah. Okay.
I love that you picked that though. Because I was really worried that everybody's gonna say the same game.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
I remember Goodbye Volcano High, and I was like, I don't think anyone will have this on their list, and I am genuinely excited for it. So
cool,
I'll put it at number 5.
All right, Fran, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Spider-Man Miles Morales. For lots of reasons. It's another Insomniac game or standalone kind of thing. It's more Spider-Man, and I'm always welcome to that. So I'm just excited to see. Like, I hope it's not like a little 5-6 hour experience, which I think it could be.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm just looking forward to seeing, how they change it to make it different from the original base game. Otherwise, it would just feel like more of the same. Yeah, it's not Sunset Overdrive 2, but I'll take it.
Oh yeah. If the game is like 6 to 10 hours, I hope it's like $40. It probably won't be, but if it's like a really short game, I really.
I saw something that said it was $40. Yeah.
The messaging was a little confusing when they announced it, but I think it's what they landed on was there's going to be like a Uncharted Lost Legacy sort of side.
That was like 12 hours, right? 10, 12 hours.
Something like that, yeah.
I don't know, but that was an amazing game. I know that.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's one of the best ones, actually.
Yeah, I think so.
I do think it's up to par to like Uncharted 4.
I know people that like it better.
I was not expecting that little like well, spoilers, but like the whole shoreline stuff. I was not expecting that. That was great.
Yeah, I gotta replay that again. I only played it once. I beat it once, and that was it.
I am yet to play it, and I am so annoyed that I haven't.
Play it. What are you doing? What are you doing?
I haven't played it either. I haven't gotten to Uncharted 4 or Lost Legacy, so.
It's always on.
It wasn't a spoiler because I have no idea what you're talking about. That's fine.
Yeah, I have no idea either. So, and also, I don't really care. I've literally seen the end of Uncharted 4, and it just didn't bother me. Like, I don't play those games for the captivating characters and story. Like, what? Yeah. I haven't played Uncharted 4 yet.
I actually I'm one of them people who liked Lost Legacy more than Uncharted 4, I think.
Yeah, I think it's, yeah.
No, James, because I'm going in order. So, James, what's your number 5?
Okay.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Overwatch 2. As I said earlier, this was a last minute addition because I actually forgot that I didn't consider this for the list. I actually had a different game on here.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
It got pushed off, but I remembered like last minute, and I'm a big Overwatch fan, as I said earlier.
Right.
And Overwatch 2, like, I'm a little annoyed that they're not starting from scratch with the multiplayer, because obviously the multiplayer is still going to be a little unbalanced and not fun. But I am really excited for all that story, like that co-op gameplay. It seems like it's going to be like a sort of Valve style, sort of like Left 4 Dead, like 4-player co-op sort of deal with the story. Right. And like, I'm really excited about that because as an Overwatch fan, one of the best things about that game is the lore and all the backstory and everything. Like all the cinematics, all the like comics and everything like that. That's some of the best stuff.
I love watching. I love watching those movies, like the animated movies.
Yeah, exactly. Like if they're going to be diving into more of that stuff, like I'm there for it. Yeah, I'm really excited.
How many hours did you put in the first game?
More than me. I know that.
Yeah, I've got over 300 hours on PS4 and a few more on PC.
That's why
I think I might be over 400 now. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why I said it doesn't surprise me that you picked Overwatch 2, because I know you're a big fan of that. Mitch, what's your number 5?
My number 5 is Pragmata. which is, if you guys don't remember, it was the weird Death Stranding lookalike.
I thought it was Death Stranding.
Spaceman simulator.
Next Kojima game.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yes. Yeah, no.
It's a Capcom game.
I think
that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a Capcom game. That's like the main thing. It's like it definitely, considering how far away this is, I think they kind of just put this together in the last 6 to 8 months and sort of went, oh look, Death Stranding's popular. Let's sort of take some ideas from that. But I think then again, it's like it definitely looks like something that's going to be interesting, and I'm not necessarily anticipating it at the moment, because for all I know, it's just going to be like a rhythm game at this point. Nobody knows anything about it. But I think it's one of those games that sort of piqued my interest the most from the PS5 reveal then, and I just want to hear more about it more than anything.
It's on that sort of Kojima level of weirdness where you don't know what the hell's going on, and like the trailer alone gave everyone like so many questions that need answered.
Hopefully it's not like hopefully it's not like a flying simulator though.
Sure.
That's what suckers. It's a flight simulator for astronauts.
I think it's just so far away though, and I think it's pretty bold.
Yeah, 2022.
I think it's pretty bold of them to assume that we're going to make it out of 2020, but
bold of you to assume we'll survive the year, y'all.
Yeah, I mean, I got a hurricane. I got a hurricane in 2 days, so it's pretty bold of them to assume.
Fun.
All right.
Yeah.
Next, that's what the game was about. That's how he was flying up to the moon. You know.
That's right.
Jaden, what's your number 5?
So I actually just changed it. It was gonna be Godfall, which I am intrigued about, but I actually decided to do Stray just because it looks very interesting.
The what? What did you do?
Stray.
Oh, Stray.
Like the cat looking
cyberpunk,
colorful.
That looked interesting.
Lonely looking thing. It just looks cool. I think the aesthetic is pretty neat. I'm pretty sure the trailer they showed off was CGI, right? I think I don't think. Yeah, this is not in engine, unfortunately. But regardless, it looks cool. It looks interesting enough to have me interested. And yeah, Stray is my.
Yeah, that's an Annapurna joint, isn't it?
You're right. Yes.
They've been putting out a lot of really good stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised if that was a hit.
What? Oh, because I'm not too familiar with
Outer Wilds. They did Kentucky Route Zero,
right?
And a whole bunch of other really popular indies.
I think they're working on Solar Ash too. That was also shown there.
Right.
They did Sayonara Wild Hearts.
Yeah, I love that game.
Sayonara.
They did Outer Worlds, right? Oh, Outer Wilds. Yeah. And they published it.
Yes.
There it is. Everybody take note. That is our first conflation of Outer Wilds and Outer Worlds. And how many more times it happens.
I know. I always do that. Everybody does. And
it's all right.
And they did. I know they had I think they had their finger in Gone Home or in Donut County, things like that. So they've done a lot of indies.
Yeah. I love Donut County. That's a great game.
And what Remains of Edith Finch. These are all great games.
That's a great game.
These are all good games you guys should play, by the way, if you haven't.
I have a lot of games I need to catch up on.
So they do a lot of pretty good indie games. Their games are not like monster sellers or anything, but they're very well respected, critically acclaimed indie games.
Yeah, and like the fact that this game obviously caught their eye enough to make them want to publish it. I think that probably speaks of volumes about how good it's going to be, even if we don't know much about it.
What kind of game do you guys think it will be? Is it going to be like a platformer, or do you think it's going to be one of those point-and-click side-scroller games, or what do you think it would be?
Interesting.
Definitely not point-and-click if it's on PS5.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but there's games like that on PlayStation.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
I don't know. That's a tough question. Like
side-scroller.
Because have you guys ever played Oxenfree? What do you think it's called?
I haven't played it, but it's on my list, and I really want it.
Yeah, because that's what I'm kind of referencing that kind of gameplay. If you see if you look at it, you'll know what I mean.
Yeah, I wouldn't be afraid to put money on 2D platformer.
Yeah, that's how I feel with the cat and everything. Yeah. All right, so that's our number 5. I like that you guys all had different number 5s, and some of them were pretty obscure compared to the typical.
I got some more obscure.
Which I really enjoy. Which I actually really enjoy. I like that's different. Okay, speaking of obscure, my number 4 is Miles Morales.
So obscure. Never heard of that one.
Yeah, what's Spider-Man? Yeah. Yeah, Miles Morales. Spider-Man is the greatest Spider-Man game of all time to me, and that's saying something because Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation 2 was awesome. And I love Insomniac. There's not a game Insomniac's made that I haven't liked, and I'm a huge Miles Morales fan. And this is also saying a lot because I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my favorite character of all time, and like I'm a huge Spidey fanboy. And the fact that I've started to really like Miles more than Peter Parker is saying something. Because like all my wallpaper and everything is always sends me Miles now. So the combat's gonna be fun. Go ahead.
Sorry, not to cut you off. You said you hadn't played an Insomniac game you hadn't liked. So I assume you haven't played Fuse.
Yeah, that's the only one.
Yeah.
Damn, got him.
You got me.
Got him.
And play testers. Yeah.
Well,
There's a whole backstory to that game.
Yeah, Insomniac is just too important in my childhood. Spyro and
Insomniac's such a great studio.
yeah,
they need to bring
Ratchet,
back
Resistance.
Yeah.
Even Sunset Overdrive was decent.
Sunset Overdrive was great. Yeah.
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 So yeah, I'm excited about Spider-Man. Obviously, it's gonna play like the same game probably, but that's all I want. I'm totally cool with that. So that's my number 5. I mean number 4.
Number 4.
What's your number 4, Fran?
Oh, my number 4. And I don't know if this counts. I should have checked before, but I'm just guessing because it's like so big that it could be its own game, and that's the what's it called? Beyond Light expansion for Destiny.
Beyond Light,
yeah. Because like I said before, I play Destiny 2 every day, and I probably will forever,
Sweet.
as long as they keep updating it, you know. So this new expansion, adding all these new like locations and stuff from the first game. I like how they're bringing stuff that was only in the first game to the second one. I think there's like the merging of the games is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I'm just looking forward to seeing how much more they can do with it. With like they announced like 3 years worth of content with different expansions and stuff. So I'm in it for the long haul,
Yeah, for sure. I can totally get that. I like that everybody's picking different games. Like I said.
I think we'll probably come across some overlap a little later on, but
yeah. James, what's your number 4?
Mine is I don't want to make sure we skip Dory at some point, but we can get back to.
Oh, that's
mine is this game. I don't know if you guys have seen this. It's called Maquette. I don't know if I'm probably butchering the pronunciation of that. But it's this.
What? What is
this?
It?
Is another Annapurna joint. And it's basically it seems like this sort of puzzle game where there's this big you guys might know when I tell you what it is, but like there's this big sort of model of the world in the middle of the map, it seems like, and with like smaller objects, like smaller versions of the things in the actual world, and you can move them around, and they'll move around in the world behind you. So like if there's like a wee bridge in the model, you can move that bridge and it'll move in the real world, and you can use that to go on platform and that sort of thing. And it seems like a really interesting concept for a game, to be honest. It reminds me a lot of Superliminal, which I haven't played, but that also really interests me. I don't know if you guys have seen Superliminal.
No?
Have you seen that's another game where you start to play with perspective, and it's puzzles around making things bigger and that sort of thing.
I'm looking at gameplay right now. It's pretty cool. It looks interesting, yeah. Those like puzzles. Yeah. It's first person. You're walking around with big cubes.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of damn, what was that puzzle game a couple years ago? Shit. The Witness. Kind of like
The
that.
Witness. Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Dory, what's your number 4? I didn't mean to skip you.
That's okay. No, I forgive you. I definitely won't come after you or anything like that. It's cool. So my number 4, speaking of overlap, I was very excited to go before James because I was going to make a joke about overlap. But Kenna Bridges Spirits. I don't want to go too much into this because I think a lot has already been said. I actually, ironically, did not notice the Pikmin tactics or anything like that the first time I watched, but the second time I watched, I was like, how the heck did I miss this? But anyway, I'm not usually into those kind of games, but I do like the look of this. I like the themes that they're going for. The combat looks great. The graphics are amazing. I'm hyped for this game. End of story.
For sure. For sure. So Mitch, what's your number 4?
Yes, my number 4 is kind of. I mean, I originally had Godfall here, but I'm just don't have as much excitement for it as Ghostwire Tokyo, my number 4, which we saw back last year at E3, and then we saw some more of the state of play this year, and it's like it's one of those things that it intrigues me more than anything, just because it seems not totally unique and different, but it seems like one of those games that could be really good if done well.
Yeah.
But
what makes me excited about it is Shinji Mikami's doing it, and Shinji Mikami's the father of Resident Evil. So, and we all know and we all remember when they first announced it, the lady on stage. She was the most adorable lady I've ever seen.
She apparently left the project, which kind of it was sad, but hopefully she's doing well, and hopefully the game does well.
For sure.
As far as I know, she left because she was pregnant? ? I think that was the case.
I don't think that she ever confirmed that, but to my knowledge, but yeah, that seems like the most likely situation.
I thought she tweeted something out, but maybe that was a different person. If so,
she might have done, and I just missed it. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, he posted the GIF.
But she's wonderful. She's wonderful. The best part of one of the best parts of that E3, was that E3? I think it was E3.
Yeah, that was E3.
Yeah, that was E3 last year. Good God.
Yeah,
okay, let's not talk about
conference.
that.
It feels like an eternity ago.
Yeah, that was a great conference. With the guy shouting constantly, all the Elder Scrolls stuff. That was
my God. They were definitely paid off. They were paid off.
So she was the best part of the Bethesda conference, hands down, and probably one of the best parts of E3. Besides maybe you're amazing or whatever. Whatever Keanu said.
Keanu Reeves, you're breathtaking.
You're breathtaking. No, you're breathtaking.
We should probably do an episode on E3 stuff at some point.
Oh yeah,
that'd be
cool. We should do a rewatch of the Konami 2011 presentation.
Oh, classic.
2010.
Classic train wreck.
Yeah.
Classic train
I've never watched that.
Oh God, I don't want to watch stuff that's going to give me secondhand embarrassment. I'm tapping out.
That's fine. We can watch it with Jaden for the first time and see his reaction.
You don't want to see you don't want to see live wrestlers on stage while they're talking about a game.
I'm gonna have to pass.
You don't want to see a Japanese guy that can barely speak English hosting the entire show and just winging it, completely winging it.
Seb, I don't want to hear any more, Seb.
That's probably the worst conference of all time. That's why it's so amazing. But
boy. Anyway.
Yeah. So where we at? I think we're at Jaden now. What's your number 4?
Yeah. So I have the game Pragmata on here as well.
Mm-hmm.
For number 4, just because it, like what James said, Mitch, pardon me.
Yeah.
It just looks cool. It looks interesting. I hope it doesn't take the no offense to people who like Death Stranding, but I hope it doesn't take the same downfall route that game did, because personally I did not enjoy Death Stranding as much as others.
Mm-hmm.
Although I still have to play the game in its entirety. But Pragmata just looks cool. There's something about it. Like what we were shown. I think was it E3? I forget when it was, but
it was a reveal event. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sorry, pardon me. Yeah. How could I forget that?
3 weeks ago.
So it looks cool. It just looks interesting. There's a lot of things there that intrigues me. I like that science kind of fiction, kind of space stuff that you see in movies.
Yeah,
like Interstellar. I know it's probably not gonna be like Interstellar, but nonetheless, it looks cool. And I'm interested.
For sure.
Absolutely. I
still can't believe it's a Capcom game. Yeah. It just caught me on guard.
I didn't even see the Capcom thing until I don't think.
So that's the thing. I don't think I've played as of recently since I got my PlayStation 4. I don't think I've ever played a Capcom. Oh wait, no, I did play that one Resident Evil game that was free on PlayStation Plus, in 2015. But other than that, I don't think I've played a Capcom game.
Oh, Revelations 2, I think.
Yeah, it was that one. Yeah.
Wow, that's very strange to me. Capcom.
Yeah,
I play so many Capcom games. Resident Evil, especially.
Oh wait, on this
Devil May Cry.
Devil May Cry.
Mortal Kombat's on, right? No, I think I've played a few of those. No, eh?
Mortal Kombat is WB NetherRealm.
Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers. Yeah.
So never mind.
Which looks like EA is about to buy. I'm going by today.
So very much.
We'll see.
Very much looking forward to Pragma. I hope the gameplay doesn't disappoint me the way Death Stranding did. So yeah.
Sure, I'm sure they're probably going to play it much safer in the gameplay department than Konami. Or so not Konami, sorry, Kojima Productions.
Yeah. Because Death Stranding was Kojima Unchained. So
yeah, exactly. With a huge budget behind them.
Just like knock yourself out. Do whatever. Just knock yourself out. That's what they did. They were just like, here's a bunch of money. Do what you want. All right. So number 3. My number 3 is another obscure game called Horizon. Going
for the indies on this one.
Yeah. Horizon, I love the first one. It's one of the most gorgeous games I've ever seen, especially running on old hardware like that. It was mind blowing. But what I really loved about it was just the gameplay with where you can like switch weapons and items in combat in slow motion. It was just like really fun. Like the storyline was okay, but it wasn't amazing, but it was fine. But I did really like that. It did focus on like old history, like old like. This was how civilization used to be, and then there's a lot of. I like how she learns that throughout the story, like, oh, this is cool, and this is how technology used to be, and things like that. And I love how the narrative played out that way, like through her exploration of like different bases and stuff like that. So
Eloy's like, I can't believe people used to post on Facebook all the time. That's so ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah, I think the lore is fantastic, but my biggest problem with the game overall is just how it was conveyed and how it was like in a dozen just basically walking simulator sections where it's like, okay, walk a bit, do a light puzzle. All right, now scan this and listen to like a 5-minute audio log and then repeat over and over.
I love the world so much and its lore that didn't bother me, but I totally get being annoyed with walking simulator plot dumps. Like I'm kind of over those, but at the time I wasn't. So
with that said, I do hope they get rid of the audio logs because there's just too many of them, and it just a lot of them weren't that interesting. And I hate when games.
I also hope they fix the. I also hope that. Sorry, I also hope they fix the HUD and the UI because it was awful in the first game. Like the HUD was so cluttered and just so like it literally bordered the entire screen. It just at times it made it unplayable.
The most impressive thing for me from that demo as well was at first for the second game. At first I thought it was a CG trailer, and I don't think it is. I think it's in engine it looks like a fucking Pixar film or something like that.
It looks amazing.
Fun fact as well. That was the game that got bumped off my list by Overwatch.
We gotcha. Now. I will be playing Horizon next week on Steam, and I'll be playing on ultra settings, so I can't even imagine. I already seen the videos of it, and just.
I think Seb's eyes are just gonna be gone after next week, y'all. I think we're gonna lose.
It's gonna be mind blowing. So I'm wondering how it's gonna hold up compared. It came out 4 years ago, so I'm wondering how is gonna hold up, especially considering like how well third person games have been recently, like Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. Like I think they've done a better job because there wasn't really anything like that back then, like the way they did that. A lot of games kind of started using that same formula. I've noticed since then. It's for the last 4 years.
I mean, it might feel right at home for you after playing Ghost of Tsushima because as we were saying earlier, like there's a lot of similarities there.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, is there? Oh, yeah.
Well, we just lost them.
I didn't like the combat too much.
I gotcha.
But yeah.
Sure.
Dory, what's your number 3?
My number 3, it is Ratchet and Clank. It is with the subtitle that it's
Rift Apart. Rift Apart.
Rift Apart.
Yeah.
Okay. First off, I love puns. Second, Insomniac.
All of them have
it. It's Insomniac, right?
Mm-hmm.
Insomniac.
Yep.
Yes.
I always get Naughty Dog and Insomniac mixed up, so you all got to keep me in check here.
Yeah, you're thinking of Jack and Daxter. That's Naughty Dog.
Yeah. So I was really hyped by the gameplay. I've only played. I know this will be tough for some of y'all to believe, but I've only played one Ratchet and Clank, and it was the future game. It was the first of the trilogy.
Can you say oof?
Yeah, I've played only one as well, which was the one on PS4.
I played the one for the PS3, the first part of the trilogy series. I don't remember what it's called, but And I really like that. And I'm looking forward to playing a game. It looks so fluid. Just the portals alone and the combat look real cool. The graphics, I'm hyped for it.
Absolutely. That was gonna be my number 5, but just I just edged it a little bit. But
I guess there's a female Lombax. That's kind of cool too. But it doesn't really matter to me. But like, cool, I guess.
Yeah, it's there's a whole lore behind the Lombax and everything. I wonder if they're gonna explore that. Yeah, because they kind of because the original timeline, I guess, is not canon anymore. I don't know if they just completely rebooted it. So
that's what I would. They might have said this already, but I'd love to know if it's a continuation of the 2016 game or of the original series.
Well, I feel like it's definitely a sequel to the 2016 one. I think they just rebooted the whole series completely.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that as a newcomer because I am completely overwhelmed and lost by Ratchet and Clank.
Now, to be fair, I've never been a huge Ratchet fan, growing up. I played a couple of them here and there, but I never really beat them. So 2016 was really my first Ratchet game where I beat it completely and got the platinum and everything. So I'm definitely excited for that one. I'm getting that day one for sure. All right. Fran, what's your number 3?
Big surprise. Mine's Horizon. I mean, most of the points that I was going to say have been said.
Yeah.
There's one thing that I would that I really hope that they do is more of that kind of puzzle stuff where you kind of go underground to those vaults. I think they were called. I can't remember. And you do those puzzles. I hope that there's more of that kind of stuff. With new stuff to do in those areas.
Right. It looks like it's gonna be swimming, so there's gonna be a lot of secret areas to explore.
Yeah, underwater puzzles would be pretty cool as well.
Yeah. Although I do think the puzzles kind of hurt the pacing sometimes, so I do hope that they cut that out just a little bit.
I mean, I'm happy if it's just a side activity that you can do that gives you just bonus stuff, or there's a side mission where it's explore this cave and then you find out it's a vault, and that kind of thing would be pretty cool.
Be a trophy.
And that's one of the benefits of being an open world game as well, is you can sort of let the player decide the pacing in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I guess it was the problem with the first one, was just because the story missions were tied down to puzzles. So there was times where the pacing would just come to a complete halt, and just you gotta solve this puzzle. You know what I mean?
Sure.
All right, number 3, James. What's your number 3?
I feel like I'm going to be the only person here without Horizon on my list. But my number 3, is Little Devil Inside. I don't know if you guys remember this one from the PlayStation 5 event as well.
I do.
This was one. I'm not entirely sure what kind of game it is, but I saw some weird stuff in that trailer where it seemed to be imitating some other games. When I was
looking it up, James,
it looks really funny.
I saw that it was that people were saying it's action RPG, but don't know.
Okay, no, that sounds fun, but I saw in the trailer he was the wee guy was roping down a cliff like Death Stranding or something like that, and he was also in another clip he was riding those Journey guys, from Journey, and I don't know if it's just coincidence, but or if it's parodying these sort of games, but no, it looks really interesting. Anyhow, and the art style is really nice as well.
I think they're a new developer too. Is this their first game?
I am not sure.
Yeah, because they don't have a Wikipedia page at all, so I feel like this is their first game. It looked really funny. Is that the one when the guy was on the toilet and then that was the transition or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really funny.
That was the one.
Yeah. The combat looks really fun, actually. I was kind of surprised.
Sure, no, I want to know more about it. I want to know how it plays, what it's about, and everything.
Yeah. It kind of looks like it mixes 2D and 3D. There's there's platforming sections where it's 2D, and then you're in a kind of an open world, not open world, but an open area in 3D. That's cool. Mitch, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is, that's not really obscure and it technically hasn't even been officially announced yet, but God of War 2 or God of War 5, whatever they end up having it. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, so I think I think we can all agree that the 2018 God of War was pretty amazing.
My game of the generation.
It's and the ending certainly left tons of questions and room to sort of go. So I think Yeah, I mean, like if we get like a Thor versus Kratos story or something like that, where he goes against, you know, the Norse gods, but also like as long as they retain the heart and like the sort of grounded, you know, father and son sort of nature of the first game, then I think it's gonna be great. Like as long as they don't stray from the formula that they established, you know, with 2018, it's gonna be good. Yeah,
I'm really curious how they do the story, just because I know the world serpent is Loki's son in mythology, so like that world serpent knows Atreus because.
Oh, yeah, spoilers if you haven't played it yet.
Can I just say that's my third as well? So I'm just going to tie into the conversation.
Yeah. Okay.
But
awesome.
I watched a lot of, or I watched this one YouTuber. I'm not going to say anything just in case it comes true, but he was really, he made what, you know, one of those videos where you kind of look into the lore and you have all these different theories and stuff.
Yep.
But so a lot of the stuff he came up with, I think, is what's going to happen in Thor, God of War 2 or Ragnarok or whatever they decide to call it.
Yeah.
But I do think we will eventually, hopefully, which would be cool, get to play his Kratos' son. What's his name?
Atreus?
Atreus, yeah.
Is it? I thought it was Atreus.
I thought it was Atreus too,
it's Atreus.
Atreyu.
They keep just going, but keep changing.
Well, I think Kratos is going to turn into the world serpent. I think he's going to die and he's going to transfer his body, because that was on the wall.
Weird.
That was drawn on the wall at the end of the game.
No, I'm not gonna say it.
I know it's hard not to spoil this.
I think it'd be really cool if they did like a whole trilogy in this mythology.
Yeah.
And then they did another trilogy after that in a different mythology.
Yeah.
I think we're all going to be like 20 years older by that point, though.
I do know that.
Sure.
I do know in mythology though that the world serpent is the son of Loki. So.
Right.
Yeah.
So that might be where they're going, or I don't know. Okay, so
that's my
number 2. My number 2 is, no surprise to anybody, is Resident Evil 8. Resident Evil 8.
Oh.
It looks like a mix of Bloodborne and I don't know, like some vampire game, like Vampire Masquerade or something.
Yeah. No spoilers for Resident Evil 7, please. I haven't played that.
Not really to spoil, because it looks totally different. Go ahead.
Sorry, I'll just jump in here and say that Resident Evil 8 is also my number 2 as well. Cool. So yeah, I'm fully with you there. It looks great from what we've seen, even better than 7, I reckon.
I mean, I really love that Resident Evil's gone from a spooky mansion to fighting somebody in a volcano to vampires and bats and stuff like that. And I'm interested in what they're doing with Chris, because Chris seems like the bad guy, even though I know it's not going to be the case, but I'm interested in what they're going to do with that.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about bringing Ethan back. I don't know. Ethan was. I know he's supposed to be like a silent protagonist, but he's kind of just like, that was kind of the worst part of the 7. He was just not really an interesting character that much. You know what I mean? So.
I'm kind of interested to see, like, because by the sounds of it, they seem to be sort of delving into him as a character much more with this game. So I'm interested to see. Like, I'm willing to for him to come back and actually have a chance of redeeming himself as an actual character rather than just it was really weird in the first game, because he was also meant to be a silent protagonist, yet at the same time he was also supposed to be like a sympathetic character.
Yeah.
That at the same time also just spouted out like one-liners about like who built this stuff, basically, just sort of like to be sort of call out and make fun of how ridiculous Resident Evil can be. Like, it was really weird, and mishandled in 7. So I hope they kind of rein him in 8 a bit more.
It's just weird. It's just weird to do a sequel for 7, just because 7 just felt like its own contained story, and it kind of had a conclusion. You know what I mean? Like, So I don't know, but but I don't. It doesn't really matter. If it has Resident Evil in the title, I'm buying it. So it's just one of those things. I'm just that big a fan.
Exactly.
And I like those werewolves too. And I like that, like, it really has a Van Helsing feel, or it has a what do you call it? An Underworld feel. You know, you ever see the Underworld, the movie with the werewolves and vampires? Because it seems like
I haven't seen the movies.
I like those movies. I like Underworld as well as
I get that vibe.
Van Helsing with Hugh Jackman.
Yeah,
I like
that's what I'm saying. It reminds me of the Hugh Jackman one with the vampires.
But I'm not a huge fan of horror games too much. There's been many times where I was playing The Last of Us Part 2 where I just I had to put the controller down. I'm like, nah, this is too much. Especially that one arrow. Yeah. Oh, That was the biggest jump scare. Oh my god. I was not expecting.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the resident like survival horror fan of the group, I would say. So I'm gonna be. I always play.
Yeah, I think you've definitely been around for the longest in that genre. So yeah.
And the thing is, thinking about Resident Evil, I can make a case that it's more of an action game than a horror game. Like even old school Resident Evil, you get like a grenade launcher, a rocket launcher, shotgun. You know what I mean? You get every Resident Evil game, you're always fully loaded at the end. Like in because in Resident
Evil, you say that you're the Resident Evil fan.
Yeah, I don't know. I was trying to make the pun.
Yeah.
But the same thing with Resident Evil 7, like in the beginning, you have very limited ammo, and then all of a sudden, like on the Act 3, I'm not going to say where, but they give you so much ammo and guns, and you're just mowing things down in terms of an action game.
I loathed the third act of
totally
Resident Evil 7.
Totally agree. But we'll get off track, but I totally agree.
Yeah.
That game's great, except for the third act, and then it kind of fell off for me.
Yeah, totally, yeah.
So, number 2. Dory, what's your number 2?
Hi, James. You've made a huge mistake. Number 2 is Horizon Zero Dawn.
There is.
I loved Horizon Zero so much. I'm so excited for what Aloy is going to do. I do have some minor concerns with the game. I know this might not be a popular opinion, but more social cultural issues with sometimes how the game portrays past cultures and stuff like that, I think can be problematic, but I'm hoping that this game will handle it a little better, a little more delicately maybe.
But a bit cliched and stereotypical, yeah.
Yeah. But that aside, I mean, I think I love Horizon Zero Dawn. I think it's a fantastic game. I'm not usually one for open worlds, so this game really sold me in ways that I was not expecting. And I think the sequel is going to be great. So I'm excited to go to California with an aching in my heart. There we go.
Nice. Fran, what's your number 2?
My number 2, I'm surprised no one said this yet. It means either no one's got it on their list or it's their number 1. But mine's Cyberpunk 2077.
Oh. I forget. I guess in my head I'm not playing it on PlayStation 5. I'm playing on PC, so I guess it's not registering with me with that. But yeah. Cyberpunk's that's gonna be my game of the year probably. But go ahead.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, to be honest, I played Witcher 3 and I kind of hated it.
Ooh.
But what I've seen,
those are fighting words, dude. Fighting words. No, I'm just playing.
But I've seen lots of, now I've seen quite a lot of Cyberpunk. I'm pretty sure I'm going to like this direction of this game. And I'm hoping it's not too kind of repetitive. The gunplay looks like it will, by the end of those, like 100 hours is going to get a bit boring. But that world and those quests, just look so much fun to do. And I'm sure I'm going to spend hours just standing in the same spot looking at the routines that the NPCs do. And I think I'll have a fun time just going around.
Yeah, like, do you like the futuristic setting better than the fantasy? Is that what it is? Like, did it not click with you?
I like fantasy, but I just feel like there hasn't been enough games that have done like this big kind of futuristic city aesthetic kind of thing, and I like that this is just going all in with that kind of theme.
Go ahead, Jaden.
Sorry, not to cut you off. Is The Witcher anywhere close to being similar to Shadow of War or Mordor? I forget which one I played. Because if so, I probably wouldn't like The Witcher either.
Kind of.
It's much more RPG focused.
Yeah, it's more
like
story.
The Shadow of Mordor games are like action focused. Like they're definitely like sort of offshoots of like the Batman Arkham games.
Yep.
Right.
Which is like a full-on RPG.
Yep. Mitch is 100% right. The Witcher 3 is a masterpiece to me. I think it's my top 3 best games of the generation. I think the storyline is just phenomenal. Project Red is Project Red to me is right up there with Naughty Dog and Rockstar. Like I think if Cyberpunk becomes a masterpiece too, I think they're going to be there.
I hope Cyberpunk does. I really.
But the thing is, it's quite different than Witcher because The Witcher has like third-person action combat, which is not that great. But this one's first-person shooting. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
A lot of people are not happy with that. They want third-person Cyberpunk, including myself. But
I don't know why though. Yeah.
Because I like third-person better than first. But it's not a big deal.
Yeah. It's a conversation for another day.
Yeah, I'm not really upset about it, but my only question with is that they've been cutting stuff out. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I just wanted to add my voice in terms of like it's not on my list because I'm not really excited about it.
Oh.
There is like, I don't know. I guess to be blunt, like I only really want to buy from one big company that's really well known for crunch in a year, like if I gotta. And like I did Last of Us Part 2. The other issue is also, I guess I'm just not into. Like I said, I'm a tough sell when it comes to open world games. So a lot of stuff I've seen hasn't really hasn't translated well for me as a player. It's just not my jam most of the time. There's also like some PR mishandling with regards to like marketing with or PR stuff with like trans folks in general. So that was kind of a put off. But yeah, I don't know. I hope it's great. I mean, I hope it's great. I hope you, not that I would condone this, but I hope you in game get to, you know, stick it to the man, blow up some corporations, all that stuff that's actually cyberpunk.
It's probably,
but who knows?
The planet.
That'll be cool.
The game probably has the game has the greatest customization of all time, probably. Like you can customize literally everything you want. So it's just one of those things.
Everything.
And I mean everything. It's probably gonna be my game of the year, maybe. I don't know. It's gonna be hard to say.
And that's exactly why.
I'm kind of happy that I'm gonna have the months to be able to play that. When does it come out? September? November?
September.
No, it comes out November.
They pushed it back again, didn't they?
Yeah,
they pushed it back.
Yeah. Okay, November. Crap.
I'll give you the exact date. Cyberpunk date comes out November 19th.
Oh, okay.
I guess I didn't think of Cyberpunk because it doesn't feel like next gen. It feels like this gen, so I didn't even register that it's gonna be on PS5 too. You know.
To be fair, it was announced last gen, like back when the 360 PS3
7 years ago,
actually. So yeah.
James, what's your number 2?
Right. Well, my number 2. I think this is probably the only thing on my list that's going to overlap with other people. But my number 2 is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Much like Dory, I've only played one Ratchet and Clank game. Mine was the 2016 one. But I love that game. I played it twice in a row. Like that's one of the few games that I've played like immediately after finishing it. I've started it again. And you know, like anything Insomniac makes, I'm there for day in day because like I have besides Ratchet and Clank, I have a long history with them, with like Resistance and Spyro and that sort of thing.
Right.
So yeah, I'm really excited for Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart.
Definitely. Mitch already did his. So Jaden, what's your number 2?
So my number 2 is I wasn't too sure about this one, but Spider-Man 2. I guess I really don't know what Miles. I don't know what that game's gonna be about. Like if it's gonna be a continuation of what we've played in 2018. But I'm really excited for Spider-Man, like a sequel, I guess, to the 2018 one, because I mean, like in terms of, I think that's one of the best Spider-Man games. I think for a lot of people.
Yes.
It was for me. Like I played some decent. Like I forget the names, but I played some pretty decent, okay Spider-Man games back in I think it was PlayStation 3, as well as one on PlayStation 4, which was like I think The Amazing Spider-Man 2, I believe, which I thought was pretty great. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I thought it was great.
Trash.
I love Spider-Man, and so I'm excited for Spider-Man 2 just because of all the lore. I was so shocked when I was playing Spider-Man in 2018, like just from like in terms of like a narrative perspective, all the different things and stuff and little secrets that they had. It was just really cool, and I think that they're really expanding on a one.
From what I mean, it's going to be a continuation of the story. From what I gather, it takes place during.
It's like 1.5.
It takes place during Christmas or wintertime. It's in wintertime and Christmas, so I think it's. Yeah. I think it's going to be very snowy.
I think it's actually, to be specific, it's Spider-Man 1.5 Final Mix.
Dream drop distance. Dream drop distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the rumors about, you know, a remaster of the PS4 game being bundled with Miles Morales, which would it could very well be a Final Mix.
That'd be cool. I mean, but the thing is, they've cut out all the subway sections because it would load so fast. They don't need them anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Spidey would be just sitting next to someone before you know it. Whoosh!
Yeah. It's the Flash. Huh? All right. So number 1 now. My number 1, which is no surprise, I guess. God of War 2. God of War 2. God of War is my game of the generation. I love that everything. I think everything in that game is a masterpiece to me, and just love that mythology. I'm a huge Vikings fan. I'm watching Cursed on Netflix. Just the whole Viking culture and everything like that. This one's gonna be even more lore heavy because you're gonna start seeing Odin and Thor.
Right.
Hopefully, yeah.
I'm assuming it's gonna be called Ragnarok, just because it seems like it's hinting to like another end of the world scenario.
Seems like the third game. It seems like the trilogy.
There's something about
thing.
There's something about Kratos. Yeah. There's something about Kratos and destroying culture and setting the end of the world in that region. Because that's how God of War 3 ended.
I don't know. I don't know if you got the memo, but like he's a changed man. You know, he's not about that life anymore. You know.
But
we
need to
talk about one day. I want to talk about the ending of that game because I was a little confused.
Yeah.
But I don't want to say any spoilers for that game. But it was what he did to Boulder, or to the to Boulder.
Right.
I was a little confused about
that's the key right there. That's the key right there because in mythology that's what causes the apocalypse. So that's kind of why I think it's going to lead into Ragnarok if you know your lore. So that's kind of why.
Okay.
Yeah,
totally. Wow.
Yep. So I mean, do I need to say anything? I think that game's gonna be a masterpiece. I trust Cory Barlog.
Great dude.
Yeah, he's great. So I don't. Awesome. It's one Naughty. They're just Santa Monica is just like Naughty Dog with me. I trust everything they do. So. So Dory, what's your number one?
My number one is Miles Morales, baby. I'm really excited. I screamed when that trailer came. I did too. It was one of those, you know how those trailer reactions that you think, wow, those people must be faking it. Yeah. If I had recorded my reaction to that, people would have been like, no, she's obviously faking this reaction. But I just was screaming. I was so excited. I've wanted a Miles Morales game. We got a Miles Morales movie. I mean, why not a freaking game, right?
Yeah.
I'm just so hyped. I don't care if it's only a 10-hour game. I loved Spider-Man was so good, and I'm as you can't tell by now, I'm a huge mark for Spider-Man. He's one of my favorite superheroes of all time. I prefer him more as a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man than a globally famous or with the Avengers Spider-Man, but whatever.
That's a conversation for another day.
Right. But and I do think they're going more for the neighborhood vibe over the hey, I'm with the Avengers and I'm really cool and I'm super successful and I'm not a nerd anymore. Totally. Yeah. And so I love what they're doing, and I think going back to that lore with the story, with how they handled it in the first game, I was very surprised how well they did the writing. I mean, I also love Insomniac. I loved Spyro as a series. I loved the whole original trilogy that they did with that. I never got into Jak and Daxter, but I do want to at some point.
Definitely recommend.
And so I've also loved Insomniac, and I really trust them and what they're doing.
Yep.
Their CEO is one of the few CEOs in my life when I see, I think his name's Tim Price or something like that.
Ted Price.
Ted Price. That's right. It's so close. 3 letters begins with T. But he's one of the few CEOs. I see him and I'm like, that seems like a nice guy. That seems like a cool guy that I'd want to hang out with and talk video games, right? He doesn't come off like a Ubisoft executive. I know that Insomniac's hitting the big time now, but I still kind of see him as this, small company that's small company relative to others. I mean,
for sure.
That used to make platformers and has now really struck big with Spider-Man. I'm so happy for them.
Yep.
I think Miles Morales is going to be great, and I think it's so important. Just want to put this out there. It's so important to have a character of Miles Morales and his mixed ethnicity too. That's
absolutely
so important to have him as the main character.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely. All right. What's number one, Fran?
I think this is a game. This is a game that's going to be a long ways off, but I'm still incredibly excited for it, which is the next part, or whatever they're going to call it, of the Final Fantasy VII remake.
Oh,
fire! Yes, can't wait.
I forgot about that. I should have put that on my list.
I almost did too. Yeah, that was crazy.
It's a tricky game because the first one kind of has a definitive start and end point. You're in Midgar and it ends at Midgar.
Yep.
But this next one is so open, the rest of the game from then on in the original. There's no end point until the end. So I'm hoping in this one we get to see some gold saucer stuff because it's my favorite place in the game.
I guarantee you we'll get gold saucer in the second part.
I want it to be like Wall Market, but like massive.
How well do you know the story? Did you beat the first one or original one? Or?
Lots of times.
Awesome. I think the second part's gonna end when he gets possessed. That's all I'm gonna say. He gives the materia. He gives the materia to who and summons the thing. Yep. I think that's where part 2 is gonna end. So we're gonna get all the side stuff. I think.
And I hope they kind of keep it not like full open world like 15, but kind of like a mix between which one was it? There was a Final Fantasy game that kind of did a mix between that and there was like some side stuff you could do, but they also kind of kept it linear.
Well, 13 was very linear. Is that what you mean?
Too linear.
Yeah, it's too linear. Yeah. It's gonna be interesting because they can't put filler in 7 this time now because now that we're in the open world section of it, they can't like fluff it out anymore. So it's gonna be one of those things. Yeah. I wonder how they're gonna.
I'm looking forward to that.
I wonder if there's gonna be an open world where you can like a hub, like one of those worlds where you just walk around and stuff with the little buggy and things like that.
I think it might be like when you go to the Chocobo farm.
Yeah.
I think like that might be quite a large open area, like in Last of Us in Seattle. Mm-hmm. I think you might get the Chocobos and you could just kind of go around that area.
Oh shit! Ellie can ride on Chocobos. When did this happen?
On the Chocobos.
See, I don't get that reference because I've never played a Final Fantasy game.
You're killing me.
That.
Neither. Yeah,
I was right.
Neither.
I mean, I've only played Final Fantasy VII, the original, and then the remake. So yeah, I'm killing you too, Seb. Sorry.
Oh, at least Fran's a man of culture.
Part of a movie of one, I think. It was weird.
Oh,
I don't get the story too much.
That makes it. What you just said is even worse than not playing those games. That movie is garbage.
Yeah, I think, or something. I was like,
we're going on a tangent.
I mean, I played Kingdom Hearts 2. That's kind of like Advent Children, right?
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Advent Children went full action movie in that one. They're jumping like 50 feet in the air and stuff. Yeah. Anyway, James, number 1.
Oh, yeah.
James,
hello?
Number 1.
Sorry, I had to deafen myself because I haven't played Final Fantasy VII.
I didn't. I'm sorry. I didn't mean.
That's okay. Don't worry about it. So my number 7 is I assume I'm the only person with this one because if anybody else had it, they'd probably have it a lot lower on the list. But my number 1 is Gran Turismo 7. I'm a big. I'm a big racing game fan, especially Gran Turismo. I've got a lot of nostalgia for Gran Turismo, all the way from the first one. Like even Gran Turismo Sport, right? Like just all the sound effects and the menus and stuff. There's so much nostalgia packed into those alone, and it's like a series with so much. What's the word I'm looking for? Anyway, it's I'm a big fan of racing games in general, but Gran Turismo has a soft spot for me.
Yep.
So, I'm really excited for a new single player one because the single player in Gran Turismo Sport is kind of bare bones. It's a bit, it's like, here's a bunch of races you can go and do, and, that's it.
Yeah.
But I'm really glad they're getting back to that whole career sort of formula for the single player thing.
Yeah, they kind of need a comeback because Forza's lapped that for a while now. So there hasn't been I don't think there's been a fantastic Gran Turismo game in a while, right?
Well, I think a lot of people really like Gran Turismo Sport for what it is.
Okay.
I think it's doing quite well. Gran Turismo 6 is one that I personally missed because it kind of snuck out at the end of the PS3 generation.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really excited. It's been because I haven't played a single player Gran Turismo since Gran Turismo 5.
Okay.
So I'm really excited.
You think
for that?
You think they can get on Forza's level now? This new one, do you think?
I don't think they were not on Forza's level personally. I mean, maybe I'm biased as a big Gran Turismo fan, but if we're talking about Forza Motorsport, I've always preferred
Gran
Turismo.
Gotcha.
But Forza Horizon, that's a great game as well. But I think it's a different ballpark.
Gotcha.
Sort of.
Yeah,
I played the 5th one on Xbox. I think it was.
Forza.
Other than the fact that the Xbox was my worst ever investment in my entire existence, I will say that Forza Horizon was interesting, but I do like Drive Club quite a bit. I don't think I've ever played a Gran Turismo game though.
Okay.
Oh, I definitely recommend it. Drive Club was a fun game as well while it lasted.
Yeah, I like Drive
It's a shame that's gone now.
Yeah, I think James is the resident racing fan. I think of all of us. I think he's the one.
I think that's probably accurate.
Yeah, it's probably you have the most experience. It's actually my least favorite genre, but if it's a good game, I will play it because I played plenty of racing games.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think stuff like Forza Horizon is a lot more accessible to people who don't play a lot of racing games because it's like open world and it's a more arcadey.
I played Need for
That's
Speed.
exactly what
Burnout.
it was. I'm like, this is weird.
I like
it wasn't
Burnout
as cool
because
and nice as Drive Club, from what I remember.
All right, so I gotta move us along.
Go ahead,
Mitch. You're number one.
Well, my number one is Gran Turismo 7. No, it's Miles Morales, and I kind of combined it with Spider-Man 2 as well, just because I'm also a huge Spider-Man fan, and I think the thing that excites me about Miles Morales the most is just how it's going to be used with the PlayStation 5 hardware. Like last week we talked about the 4K 60 FPS mode. That sounds great, and also just being able to swing around on the PS5 and seeing how it looks and plays and feels. And I mean, we've already, I'd be recycling points at this point, but yeah, the potential for this game is even greater. And I think, Miles has, he was already a great character in the first game, but I think he has even more potential here to sort of, be an awesome or amazing character. So yeah, definitely excited for that one.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. I'm glad we're getting that. Like, that was the biggest shock of the event. Like, it was like the first one shown. Yeah. It was like the first one shown. And not only that, holiday release. I was like, oh my god. My mind was blown completely.
Yeah, I actually made a bet with somebody. I said that I would eat my shoe if they revealed Spider-Man 2. I think we agreed. I think we settled on a middle ground though, because it's not technically.
So you're gonna eat half a shoe?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna eat half a shoe. It's gonna be delicious.
Live on Twitch.
Live on Twitch. Yeah.
Cheap shoes, right?
We have so many followers.
So when we get 100 subscribers, you gotta announce that you gotta eat a shoe on live on.
Yeah.
Twitch.
So like if Nike or Adidas, if you're listening, if you want to sponsor me, that's great. Reach out.
All right, Jaden, what's your number one?
Oh, I'm flattered and honored that you guys chose me for last. Also, I'm not sure if this game that I pick is really, because I don't know if it's coming for PlayStation 4. I want to say it is.
Or 5, you mean?
It would be stupid not to do it, but I had to pick The Last of Us Factions just because and they sort of announced it, but sort of didn't. Like, I know they're working on it though. I can't be too specific, but I know that they are working on a multiplayer component for the last, like, that's supposed to take the product of The Last of Us Part 2 into a multiplayer version. And I hope that it's coming for PlayStation 4, just because I don't know if they would be able, like, I don't think it would sell.
5 or?
No, like both. I'm saying, like, I definitely think it's coming for 5, but I do hope that they also have it for PlayStation 4. But yeah, that's my game.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
And I know they're working. I saw some leaks as well. A clip of. I won't. Yeah, but it's a nice clip.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Because they did say, I think they did say something when everyone was upset that they announced there was no factions in Last of Us Part 2, that they were going to work on something separate.
Exactly.
I definitely didn't see that coming from anyone's list though. But
really, I didn't either, and I was I cried. But I will say I hope that they do stick to the roots of the first game in terms of the game mode. Like, Interrogation is one of the best. Survivors I didn't really like too much, but Supply Raid is a good time as well. But I also hope, and this might be a very unpopular opinion, I hope that they do some form of Battle Royale free-to-play game as well. Or game mode, because I think it's hot. I think Naughty Dog does a great job kind of taking these like game modes that already exist and making them better, or maybe not better, but just enjoyable. Like
putting their own spin on it.
Yeah, like exactly. Like Kill Confirm, they did in Uncharted 4. I mean, it took them years because they never had it in Uncharted 3, but it was cool in Uncharted 4.
Because As much as great as the first game is, like the single player, people forget how beloved the multiplayer is in the first game.
The multiplayer, I think the community
adore it.
A lot more at large than Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy combined. So
people were pissed when they said there was no multiplayer. Oh, I remember the reaction very well. Like, there was supposed to be a riot. Yeah. So
I'm quite interested to see like what they do with the freedom afforded by the fact that it is a standalone product. Because I can't help. I imagine that factions in the first game was sort of constrained, at least in some form, by the fact that it was tied into the main game. Like maybe they would have wanted to flesh it out more, that idea. So like it'll be interesting to see what that looks like as a full product.
Yep, definitely. All right, so I think the top 5 idea is a really good idea. I think it's a really good way to have a discussion about things. You know what I mean? I think.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun.
I love it that everybody brings a different, brought up a different game and a different genre and things like that. And you guys brought up more obscure titles. So we all didn't say Miles Morales #1 or something like that. Like some of you did, but
Goodbye Volcano High.
And, but we all said different things. And if we overlapped, you guys all added different things to it. So I really liked this segment.
Yeah. The lists were a lot more varied than I had anticipated as well.
Yeah, because
despite the fact that everyone chose Horizon and Miles Morales.
I didn't choose Horizon, but Miles Morales was a constant. I
didn't even think to put God of War 2, although I don't know enough about it to really get hyped for it right now. I do love the first game immensely, but I'm just not. For Resident Evil 8, like I am looking forward to it, but I know next to nothing about it. Also, I have not played Resident Evil 7, so Ethan being in it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
so it's like
those two franchises are so important to me. God of War, especially when I was growing up, and Resident Evil.
That's totally fair.
Yeah, so.
Yeah,
I have Resident Evil 7. I am going to play it hopefully this year.
Totally recommend.
Yeah, definitely.
You and James. Totally recommend.
I think one cool thing as well that's come of this, the realization that I've had is like there's a lot of stuff coming for everyone from a bunch of different genres.
Absolutely.
In next gen.
That was my favorite thing about the PS5 event is that there were so many different games. Like they had so many. They had like indie games. They had huge games. They had Grand Theft Auto 5, which who wasn't excited about that? I mean,
I can't wait to buy that again for the 10th time.
But anyway, more seriously, they really did have like everything for everyone, even for no one. So that was great.
But nobody said Bug Snacks. I'm disappointed.
I know.
That's right. Come on, James, you and I should have banded together on that.
Yeah, I mean, of course, Bug Snacks is our collective #1, right?
Yeah.
Yes, that's right. Overall, absolutely. Everybody.
Yeah, a cool topic to dive into is like our favorite genres. Because I'm interested in like what our favorites and least favorites are. So maybe we do something like that soon.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Yeah.
I hope this is gonna be a long series. I think we all really enjoy each other's company, and we can talk for hours and hours. So appreciate you guys. Good night, guys. What's up, PlayStation fans? Thank you for watching PSPremiere's podcast. We record every Friday night and upload every podcast at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Sundays. If you like what you heard, we appreciate any support by clicking the like button and subscribing.